between the Geneva Redwings and your Auburn Doubledays. Let's get the starting lineup for tonight's game. First for Geneva, leading off the designated hitter, number 11, Zach Banks. Batting second, shortstop, number 28, J.D. Robinson. Batting third, the center fielder, number 17, Dylan Briggs. Batting fourth, third baseman, number 13, Aiken Santana. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 35, Tyler Skaggs. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 7, Braden Freeman. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 21, Chase Fogg. Batting eighth, the first baseman, number 15, Brock Ratterman. Batting ninth, the extra hitter, number 22, Michael Sardo. And batting 10th, second baseman, number 32, Casey Burkhoff. The starting pitcher for Geneva is number 33, Elijah Benton. The Red Wings are coached by Thomas Eaton, assisted by Sean Ladd and Brady Bachner. Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Auburn Doubledays. Leading off the extra hitter from Niagara University, number 21, Tyler Bidbakwa. Batting second, shortstop from Wofford College, number 25, Tommy Kerwin. Batting third, the center fielder from Mount St. Mary's University, number 1, Sam Meyer. Batting fourth, the catcher from the University of Delaware, number 19, Anthony DeCesare. Batting fifth, first baseman from St. Peter's University, number 12, Nick Izzo. Batting sixth, the designated hitter from Villanova University, number 5, Mark Gialucci. Batting seventh, second baseman from Denison University, number 28, Max Fishbein. Batting eighth, the left fielder from Eastern Connecticut State, number 35, Brendan Smith. Batting ninth, third baseman from Eastern Connecticut State, number 23, Mike Bonfiglio. And batting 10th, the right fielder from Denison University, number 34, Bobby Hardy. Starting pitcher for the Doubledays from Mercyhurst University, number 13, Matt McGeorge. The Doubledays are coached by Matthew Petrosi, assisted by Ryan Fletcher. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask all who are able to please stand and remove your hats for the national anthem. The anthem will be performed this evening by Ms. Kira Dominic.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're here on the 4th of July at Falcon Park for a matchup between the Auburn Doubledays and the Geneva Redwings. I'm Ryan Story alongside Luke Backman as we prepare for another great game of Auburn Doubledays baseball.
I'm excited. 4th of July. Weather looks good here, 75 degrees and sunny. I think this is just a perfect day for baseball, especially on a great holiday like today.
Truly is. Get a hot dog. Get ready to watch this game. It's going to be a fun one. Obviously, have the 4th of July festivities. You see the American flag over there on the board. Saw some flags flying on the back of trucks today coming into the stadium. So, love to see even everyone out there, Doubledays fans, non-Doubledays fans, all being patriotic for the holiday.
100%. I think I saw a few driving in as well. Like, you mentioned flying on the back of trucks, but like huge flags being flown, like, I don't know, like they're like construction type. I don't know, just huge flags all over. You know, you're happy to see it, and hopefully see some great baseball, which I anticipate will be the case tonight here at Falcon Park.
We've seen a lot of great baseball from the Doubledays here at home. Just one home loss on the campaign for Auburn, and they've been streaking at home recently. Had a tie yesterday, an unfortunate tie that started off looking bleak for the Doubledays. They came back, took the lead. An unfortunate error led to a tie after 10 innings. But overall, the Doubledays hot heading into this game. Just one game out of first place in their conference for the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, matching up against a Geneva Redwings squad that is near the bottom with just 6 wins on the campaign. Luke, what's the Doubledays' key to winning this contest?
Mention last night's game. I think the Doubledays can't fall behind like they did last night. You got to get out early with the offense, which, you know, we've seen some cases here at Falcon Park, they've gone behind, and then some cases where they've started off hot, scoring first, and continuing to score throughout the game. So hopefully for the Doubledays, they can get on the board first and keep it going throughout the rest of the game.
Doubledays will be taking on a Geneva Redwings team that struggled at the plate this season, as that's Zach Banks kicking things off for the Red Wings. Banks, the designated hitter out of Embry-Riddle University. That first pitch misses the strike zone for ball 1. On the mound, it's Matt McGeorge for the Doubledays out of Mercyhurst University. The righty had a really good outing his last time out on the campaign. McGeorge with a 4.58 ERA through just over 17 innings of work. McGeorge, though, has been improving throughout the season as it's progressed. Misses the strike zone there for ball 2.
Yeah, McGeorge won Pitcher of the Week in the PGCBL just a couple weeks ago. Incredible outings. That one high for ball 3. This is going to be his second start of the season. It's been coming out the bullpen, so hopefully able to find that rhythm. We talked about this last time Doubledays were home with their opponent, Elmira, about potentially, that one's outside for ball number 4. You know, it can be tough for relievers to come in and start because it's just not their rhythm. So hopefully McGeorge is able to find one here after walking. Banks.
A quick walk of Zach Banks brings up J.D. Robinson, the shortstop. Yeah, not a great start there for Matt McGeorge. Obviously, a walk in your first at bat, not fantastic, but we've seen McGeorge have the ability to get out of trouble throughout the season, especially in his last start, but even in his relief appearances, there's a reason he has a 2-1 record on the campaign. He's someone who is very adept at getting out of sticky situations.
Yeah, I mentioned the pitcher of the week in the West Division a couple weeks ago. He had pitched 5 innings in relief, had a 1-0 record, 5 strikeouts, and gave up 0 runs. Nice swing and a miss right there to even the count up, go up 0-2.
That is the first swing and a miss that we've seen McGeorge force through his 2 batters he's faced. It's an 0-2 count. As the pickoff attempt thrown over to first, Nick Izzo gets away from him, but he manages to corral it enough to keep Zach Banks at first. Interesting decision by the Doubledays manager, Matt Petrosi, today. You've got Nick Izzo over there at first, and Max Fishbein, who in nearly every appearance we've seen from him this year has played first. He's swapped that over to second. And then we even see Tommy Kerwin as that thrown over, not there in time. Good throw by Anthony DeCesare to give it an effort over there at first base. We see Tommy Kerwin in his last game as an Auburn Doubleday taking shortstop, and then Mike Configlio over there at third to round out the infield.
Yeah, kind of a different infield here today. I like it. Got to see, especially in this early part of the season, mid part of the season.
Hit cracked over to right field, and that's going to be Bobby Hardy letting it drop for a quick single. 2 batters and 2 runners on for the Geneva Red Wings.
That blooper was in that in-between awkward spot for Hardy, who was coming in hot, didn't know whether or not he had enough room to lay out for that one. Had enough room, didn't know if he was going to lay out for that one. Just in front of him too much, or he's going to play it on hop. Probably a good idea right there, but George now 2 runners on early in the start.
That was a smart save play. As that one drilled over to Kerwin. Kerwin corrals it and can't get there in time. An error there by Tommy Kerwin prevents what could have potentially been a double play. Now the bases are loaded for Matt McGeorge with 0 outs, bringing up Aiken Santana. Santana, a dangerous batter at the plate on the campaign, batting .377. Out of all qualified Red Wings batters, Santana has the best batting average, tied for the most hits. Santana top 10 in the entire PGCBL in hits. Swings and misses on that one.
Yeah, tough challenge early in this ball game. That ball from Kerwin, though wasn't able to make the play, actually did save a run laying out to stop that ball from going to the outfield, but McGeorge now bases loaded, nobody out to start this ball game.
That pitch outside evens up the count at 1-1. I'm interested to see how Tommy Kerwin's going to bounce back from that error because, obviously it's not a great start, but we've seen Kerwin, he's a young guy, we talked to him before the game, plays with a lot of confidence and a lot of resilience, and that's something that's definitely shown throughout the season. Kerwin just entering his freshman year at Wofford College, yet batting a ridiculous .364 on the season, again, out of all qualified batters. That's number 1 on the Doubledays. He's someone who has a lot of grit, normally plays left field. Now we'll see how he reacts to some adversity at short.
Yeah, I think, no doubt about it, Kerwin's going to have short-term memory. You're playing shortstop, especially here tonight. You've already forgotten that play. You're thinking about the next pitch, the next ground ball, the next at-bat. So I think for Tommy Kerwin, it's already gone from his memory, and he's ready to make the next play at short.
Aiken Santana still in the box as that pitch from McGeorge fouled off. Santana will be followed up by Tyler Skaggs, then Braden Freeman. So a tough 1-2-3 that McGeorge is going to have to go through to get out of this inning unblemished.
Yeah,
count 2-2.
Geneva's record obviously not great, but they definitely have some hitters in that lineup as we've seen early on.
They're a scrappy team that the Doubledays have at times struggled with this season. The key to taking down Geneva, it's going to be strikeouts. Geneva last in the PGCBL in extra base hits. What they do is they hit those little bloopers through their 6 wins this season. It's been death by a million cuts as the payoff pitch hit over to first and gets past Nick Izzo. That's going to score at least 2 runs. Bobby Hardy gathers it, throws it in to the cutoff, but the damage has been done. That's a 2-run single there, and that's where we see the Doubledays need to get better at letting those singles score runs. Just can't have that against the Geneva team that struggled to get runs in throughout the campaign. It's those singles that they give up that are going to end up being the death of them in this game.
Yeah, that one, I kid you not, just past the gloves of an outstretched Izzo. I mean, if that was 2 inches to the left, that would have been firmly in the web of his glove. Just was not able to make the dive out there at first base. Early in this game, Geneva jumps out to a 2-1 lead.
It's a 1-0 count. 2-0 contest as the throw over to Izzo at first. Not there in time. Santana just had a 2 RBI single, bringing up Tyler Skaggs, another elite batter on this Geneva Red Wings squad, batting just over .300 on the campaign, as that one check swing there, not going to go. Interesting to see how the Doubledays approach this one as Matt Petrosi can have a quick mound visit with his pitcher in Matt McGeorge. Also interesting to see how Geneva is going to have to approach this. They've got runners on the corners, first and third. Do they want to test Anthony DeCesare, who has an amazing arm? Probably not, especially not with 0 outs. But the double steal is always in the equation with runners on the corners.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I think the first two pitches in this at bat, they haven't been looking to swipe second. So I think for Geneva right now, you like where you're at. You see Matt McGeorge struggling a little bit on the mound. You don't want to gift him any outs, but if you're Auburn, you got to be prepared in case they do go to second. I think maybe part of that mound visit was not only to calm McGeorge, but also to talk about just that situation. We were also talking about if they do take off, see what Cesare does, and then of course react to what the runner at third does if you do throw down to second base.
Not a super promising sign when the manager has to use one of his mound visits in the first inning. That one cracked into shallow center field, and that's another RBI single. One more run scores for the Geneva Redwings. It's a 3-0 contest now.
Geneva has come to play here on 4th of July. Out of the gate here, 3-0. 3 hits in the inning as well. Doubledays are going to have to find a way soon to try and get some of these hitters out. Still, nobody has been reported out, and we're now on our 6th batter of the inning.
5 base runners, all of them got on. The closest to being an out was an error by shortstop Tommy Kerwin. That's looking to really hurt the Doubledays. That could have been a double play. Now it's 0 outs with 2 runners on base and 3 runs already scored for Geneva. At the plate, it's Braden Freeman, the right fielder out of Jackson State, fouled off.
Part of me thought Freeman almost got hit with that, but it looks like that one might have hit like the knob of his bat. Didn't even do a full check swing, kind of even halved his check swing, but enough to ball just caught a piece of the bat. Big break from George, trying to take advantage now.
George has the 0-2 count. He's gotten to that spot a few times. This game gets a foul ball there. Barely catches the bat of Braden Freeman. He'll stay alive in this at bat.
Looks like Anthony DeCesare took the worst of it. I think that one fouled right off his thigh where there isn't any padding, but he looks to be okay, kind of shaking his leg off. Behind the plate once again here, seems to be very thankful.
DeCesare, a veteran presence for this Doubledays squad. He certainly has the resilience to play through a little bit of pain. He lines up at the outside part of the plate and gets a crack over to Kerwin. Kerwin gathers it, throws it to second, and does not get there in time for the double play. That's another error by the Doubledays that'll score a run for Geneva. Now 4-0 lead for the Red Wings with a runner on second. The throw from Fishbein over to Izzo just missed the mark, got past Izzo's outstretched arms, and more unforced errors by this Auburn Doubledays squad.
Yeah, tough for the Doubledays. Is you had one, obviously, the out at second base. That was confirmed. It was going to be a tough play at first with Freeman and his speed. The bounce just not able to handle. It was Nick Izzo first, getting past him, allowing one run to score. Now Freeman move up to second. Now in scoring position here. Has not been a good top of the first for the Doubledays here tonight.
Certainly has not. Luke, you mentioned it at the start of this game. They needed to start strong. Couldn't fall behind like they did last night. Well, that's exactly what's happened. However, we have seen this Auburn squad bounce back from tough first innings, at least top of the first innings. A lot of times we'll see Auburn go down 2-0, 3-0 in the top of the first, and then match it up or even take a lead of their own in the bottom of the inning.
100% for Auburn. I think it, need a play, need a little bit of a spark to get this crowd into a good crowd here on the 4th of July. The faithful at Falcon Park behind you.
That one fouled off. Another 0-2 count for Matt McGeorge, who's still looking for his first strikeout of the night. Chase Fogg up to bat. Fogg on the campaign. Bit of a lower batting average than what McGeorge has seen prior to this, just batting 100 on the campaign through 12 at-bats. Through 12 games played, 40 at-bats. That's the first ball of the at-bat thrown right there. It's a 1-2 count with 1 out and a runner on second. In there for strike 3. Great breaking ball, just 72 miles per hour. Sneaks into the very edge of the strike zone to take down Chase Fogg, bringing up Brock Ratterman, the first baseman, with now 2 outs on the board as McGeorge looks to stem the bleeding.
Huge strikeout there from McGeorge here. Now with a runner still on second, if you can get out of this inning, okay, let your offense get you back in this game, which they've done throughout the season with starting pitching.
Big swing, big miss there from Brock Ratterman. Swinging strike. McGeorge has been able to catch a few guys swinging, but just too much contact been given up by some of McGeorge's pitches, just going right over the middle. He's going to have to toy around with strikes a bit more, as that's a base runner going. Freeman making a play over at third base, but he'll have to head on back to second with the foul ball.
Red Wings hit and run here and play with 2 outs, but Ratterman fouls that one off. So now you got 2 strikes for George trying to get out of what has been a rough first inning for the Doubledays.
Freeman will likely be running again. We've seen Kerwin be ready for the pickoff multiple times, as that pitch way high for ball 1. Kerwin's eager for it. He's been calling over for that pickoff. Back at second, we've seen McGeorge glance back a few times. He's thought about it, certainly, but just too much risk involved in that one. Freeman also playing a little bit closer to the bag now. Swing grounded right over to McGeorge. McGeorge tosses it to Izzo for the final out of the inning. 4 runs scored for the Geneva Redwings, but it could be worse. McGeorge doing what he does best in getting out of trouble after the 4 runs have been scored. We'll be back in the bottom of the first inning, where it's Tyler Vivacqua, followed up by Tommy Kerwin and Sam Meyer for the Auburn Doubledays.
It's always a great time to pick up a hot and juicy burger from your local Wendy's. They're always made from 100% fresh, never frozen beef, and they're located on Grand Avenue right here in Auburn. In fact, we have a couple of people representing Wendy's here tonight, and one of them is celebrating a birthday, so let's wish happy birthday to Sheila from Wendy's.
Back here in the bottom of the first inning at Falcon Park, where the Doubledays have fallen behind early. It's a 4-0 deficit for Auburn, but this Auburn squad has been known to bounce back. There's a reason that the Doubledays right now are sitting just a game back of first place in their conference of the PGCBL, and it's because Auburn, at home especially, starts off games hard at the plate. 15-8-3 record for the Auburn Doubledays, tied with the Batavia Muck Dogs, just 1 game back of the Niagara Falls Americans, who are 8-2 in their last 10. Auburn's been up and down through the last 10 games, fallen out of that number 1 slot. But Luke, what are some of the keys for the Auburn Doubledays over this next stretch of games? Obviously, 2 games against Geneva, a few games after that. What's the key for the Doubledays to keep up some of their recent success?
I think they need to have good at-bats at the plate. That means not swinging at the first pitch. Working counts, getting to pitchers, whether it be starting pitchers like Benton on the mound for the Red Wings, or working relievers here. I think just putting together good at-bats, that's the root and start of everything here for this offense.
Someone who's been known to put together good at-bats, Tyler Vivacqua, leading off for the Doubledays. Vivacqua on the campaign, averaging an impressive .304. He'll be going against Elijah Benton the southpaw out of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Benton gives up a hit over to third, and the throw gets there in time. Santana connects with Retterman for the first out of the inning.
Elijah Benton, no stranger here to Falcon Park, was a starting pitcher for the Red Wings the last time Geneva visited the Doubledays, as Benton in that game only went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of them earned to his credit. 2 walks and a strikeout before he was pulled after 2.
Benton going against Tommy Kerwin now, as that one sails over the head of Kerwin. Kerwin, a freshman, he'll be heading to Wofford College tomorrow, actually, so this is his last game as an Auburn Doubleday. We chatted with him before the game. He's been thankful for his time here, and you can tell how he's really integrated seamlessly into the Doubledays culture. That one hit over to short as Robinson throws it over, connects again for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, for Kerwin, talking with him and get a chance throughout this game to play that interview we had with him. It always amazes me. A kid who was still in high school when the season started, playing with college kids. You got seniors in college, on this team, in this league. I can only imagine how thrilled a college coach would be to have a freshman incoming with this type of experience.
Certainly, as that one grounded foul down the left side. And you mentioned there are seniors in this league. We saw the last play that just happened, the shortstop for Geneva, J.D. Robinson. He's actually a grad student at Houghton University, so it's a freshman hitting a ground ball to a grad student. Huge age difference there. They're just at completely different points in their lives. But that one hit into right field. Freeman getting underneath it and making the snag over the shoulder for the final out of the inning. A quick 1-2-3 for Elijah Benton against the Doubledays. We'll see how Auburn responds on the defensive end when we come back here in the top of the second inning. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball.
So please support the team and give yourself a chance to win some serious cash. We will draw the winning ticket tonight at the end of the 7th inning.
Back here at Falcon Park for the top of the second inning, and Auburn trails 4-0 after a rough first inning that saw Geneva rack up 4 quick runs, and then Auburn going down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the inning, But now Auburn looking to right the ship, going against Michael Sardu, the extra hitter out of Monroe Community College. He'll be kicking things off for the Geneva Redwings. McGeorge still on the mound after a rough first inning, but we saw him have a chat with Matt Petrosi. He's going to get right back into it, and we talk about all the time having that short-term memory. McGeorge, great at that, excels at bouncing back from trouble. First pitch there, missed the strike zone low, ball 1.
Yeah, right now for McGeorge and honestly all the Doubledays, you want to stop the bleeding. Your offense is one of the better offenses in this league and can get to Geneva. If you're Auburn, you say, okay, let's keep it at 4 runs, get it back to the offense and our bats, and they'll be able to chip away because we got a lot of baseball left. So for Auburn, just slow down the momentum.
A hit there to Kerwin, and instead Bonfiglio is going to step in front of Kerwin, snag it, and not get there in time. A little short bouncer that just didn't have enough power on it for the infielders to get there in time. So that's an infield single from Marco Sardou, bringing up Casey Burcroft, the final batter in the Red Wings order.
And we talked about earlier the new infield defensive alignment here today. That could have been, just not the greatest chemistry right there between Bonfiglio and Kerwin. I think Bonfiglio, the third baseman, the rule is if you can get to it, you get to it. So right there, I think made the play, just not able to communicate well.
Short bunt that we see McGeorge grab, throw it over to first for the easy out, but the sacrifice bunt will advance Sardou over to first. Luke, over to second, excuse me. Luke, that was a pretty good bunt that we saw right there. Obviously, there are some that can get close to the third base, but a nice sacrifice bunt that's just a little dribbler gets into the green of the infield. Solid play there from Casey Burcroft.
Yeah, I think if you're Burcroft, that's the sign you were given from the third base coach. Says you executed it perfectly. Get the lead runner and Sardou over to second. Now you got a runner on second in scoring position with only 1 out for the top of your lineup and Zach Banks at the plate. You executed perfectly.
Now it's Zach Banks who kicked off the start of the first inning with a walk. The first 5 batters in the Red Wings order all got on base. They're trying to replicate that. Meanwhile, McGeorge going to attempt to prevent that from happening again. It's a 1-1 count with 1 out on the board and a runner on second. The pitch comes in and misses. That'll get past Cesare. A pitch that just broke a little bit too much on that right side and snuck past his glove.
Yeah, that one, can't even say really too much either person's fault, pitcher or the catcher. Just, like you said, snuck past and rolled a little too far from Cesare, which allowed Sardou to head over to third base now.
Another high pitch makes it a 3-1 count. So McGeorge in danger of putting runners on the corners again, and we've seen Geneva do a lot of damage with runners on the corners this game. As that one ripped into right field, Hardy can't get there in time. It'll take a bounce before Hardy grabs it, spins around, throws it into Fishbein at second, but that's another RBI single. We've seen too many of those this game from Geneva already. Those RBI singles just crushing the Doubledays so far.
Yeah, Geneva just seeing the ball well out of McGeorge's hand. That one was roped into right field. Bobby Hardy doing everything he could, playing it off a hop there. Now you got Zach Banks with 11 steals on the season so far. Staying at first, as that first pitch is going to be a strike to J.D. Robinson. Got to be aware, Banks on the move in this situation.
Banks certainly a speedy guy, and McGeorge knows that. The pickoff attempt not there in time over to Izzo. We see Banks taking a pretty large lead there. He's 1 for 1 on the night, bringing up J.D. Robinson, who's also 1 for 1. As Banks will go, and it doesn't matter because it's going to clip Robinson. So runners will be on both first and second. Would have been a very easy steal for Zach Banks, who has the combination of both size and speed that makes him nearly impossible to throw out.
Yeah, just unfortunate errors right here from the Doubledays, and this is what they do, the teams, when they're on offense, taking advantage of them through errors, pass balls, hit by pitch, running the base paths. Right now, kind of getting a taste of their own medicine from this Geneva squad.
Being out hit 5-0 right now, and also trailing 2-0 in errors. The Doubledays really need to step up in every aspect of the game right now. They've struggled so far against the Geneva Red Wings, and the Red Wings, I wouldn't necessarily say have had the Doubledays number this season, but it's just a matchup issue for the Doubledays, kind of like we've seen Auburn really excel against Elmira more than the average team has. Geneva has that effect on Auburn. While Auburn is the better team, at least on paper, in the standings, Geneva's been able to play pretty tight contests with the Doubledays throughout the season.
Yeah, they've played tight contests. Last contest, they actually ruled them 11-1, so Geneva, for some reason, their bats seem to get a little bit hotter when they're facing Doubleday pitching. We've seen that through 2 innings here.
That pitch finally in there for a strike after the first 3 missed the zone. It's a 3-1 count. McGeorge looking to avoid bases loaded situation for the 2nd inning in a row. Pitch comes in and misses the strike zone just barely outside. A tough break for McGeorge after what looked to be a good pitch, even though it was called a ball. It was one of those pitches that's right on the edge. Sometimes you get it in, sometimes you don't. And at the end of the day, if you're going to have a successful outing, you need to throw some of those pitches.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Dylan Briggs, who was at the plate right there, saw the pitch, kind of was going to go to first base because it was going to be ball 4, then stopped, anticipating it to be called strike. There was no call from the umpire, so he was like, oh, I'll take that as a ball and take my base there at first. So one of those 50-50 pitches, like you said, Ryan, that just did not go the way of the Doubledays. And Aiken Santana comes to the plate after a single in the first with the bases loaded. Here we go all over again, it feels like, for the Doubledays, trying to limit the damage.
Santana had a 2 RBI single in his first at-bat, trying to replicate things. That pitch in there for strike 1. The breaking ball, just 72 miles per hour. Curves in there for a strike. Santana, as we mentioned before, a dangerous batter. Not going to go at that one. That one breaks out of the zone. And Santana's very patient. That's what helps him excel at the plate on the season. Santana, plenty of walks, actually 7 walks on the campaign compared to just 12 strikeouts. Someone who is very disciplined and doesn't chase again. There's that one outside for ball 2.
Yeah, these are not pitches that are missing by a lot right now. McGeorge just not being the beneficiary of some of the calls from behind the plate. It's tough trying to come back in this count now.
And the onus is on McGeorge to get those strikes. That was a big swing and a miss there from Santana, because what Santana does know is that a walk will score a run. So McGeorge can't afford to give up a walk here, so he's going to have to chase the strike zone a bit more than he normally would. That leaves the danger for a meatball potentially right over the middle. McGeorge not going to give him that right there, a bit outside for a full count.
We're only in the 2nd inning, and this is a critical point in this ball game for McGeorge and the Doubledays as a team. Right now in a full count with the bases loaded.
Matt McGeorge, payoff pitch in there, but it's going to be clipped over to center field. Meyer let it hop, and it bounces over Meyer's head. That looks like it could be a Little League home run, as it's finally Bobby Hardy gathering it in the warning track, and it'll be a stand-up triple for Aiken Santana. What should have just been a single turns into a bases clearing, effectively a triple, even though it will just be marked in the stat sheet as a single. But Santana now, too many RBIs. That's, I believe, 5 RBIs on the day through just 2 innings. And Auburn trails 8-0 here. And that's going to be the end of the night for Matt McGeorge. Quick end for the young pitcher.
Yeah, tough ending for McGeorge. And while he did have some struggles on the mound, the defense behind him weren't helping him too much here in this ball game. 3 errors in 2 innings. Just a rough start here for Matt McGeorge and the Doubledays defense as a whole.
Certainly was. The Doubledays really need to turn things around. We'll be back after a short break to give you some more information on who the new pitcher will be for the Auburn Doubledays. Stay tuned for more. back here midway through the top of the second inning, and it was a quick start for Matt McGeorge, making it through just 1 1/3 innings. Now it'll be Eston Elko on the mound for the Doubledays. He's coming in out of the bullpen, the freshman out of Middlebury College. Elko batting pitching with a 4.22 ERA entering this contest, but a 2-0 record, a pretty impressive record through just 6 appearances. Elko has made his presence felt out of the bullpen for the Doubledays this season, trying to get out of a jam that's been created by Matt McGeorge, who's given up 4 runs in each of the first 2 innings. Still a runner over there on third base.
Yeah, not an easy situation here for Elko. He comes into this ball game. Auburn trailing 8-0.
Pitch low there for a 3-1 count. Auburn really needs to step up at the plate because the damage has already been done on the defensive end. 3 errors, just stuff that you can't have as an Auburn Doubledays team that's trying to contend, trying to get first. As that one cracked over to left field, and a beautiful catch made there by Brendan Smith. Still will score a run for the Geneva Redwings, but a great play there by Smith to nab the run. That will end the inning. Yes, because there was no tag up. Yeah, no tag up there from the base runner, so Aiken Santana just got a bit too overeager, didn't think that Smith would be able to come down with that one, and so we will see after the great play there from Brendan Smith, the inning will be over and Geneva just leading only 8-0, but Eston Elko showing some signs of life for the Doubledays, getting them out of a jam. We'll be back here in the bottom of the second with more Auburn Doubledays baseball.
The Barn Grill has served the Auburn community for 30 years with their delicious food and drinks. Their Ford Barn is a great place to watch your favorite team. They are located on Grant Avenue right here in Auburn. And tonight's game is sponsored in part by Wegmans. And Wegmans, every day you get our best.
Anthony DeCesare kicking things off for the Auburn Doubledays here in the bottom of the second as Auburn trails 8-0 on 4th of July day. The Doubledays not showing up for the holiday, but we'll see if they can turn their fortunes around. Went down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. Anthony DeCesare, though, one of the best batters on this Auburn squad with a .333 batting average, slashing .444, slugging with a .425 on-base percentage.
DeCesare trying to get things started, and just to answer the question, yeah, they did say the runner left early there at the top of the second, so big, huge break for the Doubledays. That negated a run and got them out of the inning, so hoping to take advantage here in the bottom of the second.
And the Red Wings staff wasn't too happy with that call. It was pretty close, but that one misses barely for ball 2. But it was just a great play by Smith, and it was pretty disguised, so it was hard for Aiken Santana to make an accurate judgment as to whether or not that was caught, and he went just a bit too early. That ball hit over to right field and curves too much, bounces off the wall for a foul ball.
Yeah, great sliding catch there from Brendan Smith to end the inning. And, I think a part of the anger, frustration for the Red Wings is the fact that you didn't have to get an early jump because the fact he did make the sliding grab. You're going to have an extra amount of time to come home. And if we even look at the play, Smith knew he wasn't going to be able to get the runner going to home, so he just threw it to the cutoff man. So it's just, you're shooting yourself in the foot right there for the Red Wings. So mad at the umpire for the call and kind of mad at your own decision right there.
Cesare grounds it right over to second base. Burcroft connects with Retterman for the first out of the inning. Doubledays still in search of their first base runner.
Yeah, if you want to just talk about two offenses that are on two completely different pages right now, clicking on all cylinders, the Red Wings. Doubledays still looking, as you mentioned, to get the first runner on base. Granted, we're still only 4 hitters through the game, but when you're down 8-0, you got to start playing catch-up a little earlier than you would if it was, say, a 3-0 ball game.
Nick Izzo batting the 5-hitter for the Doubledays. We've already seen the 5-hitter on Geneva bat twice. Whenever that's happening, whenever you're being lapped by a team in at-bats, not a great sign, but as they're trying to turn things around. His first at-bat of the night. The first baseman lets that one go, 2-0 count. Talked about it before, but I'll say it again. Nick Izzo, great walk-up song, The H to the Izzo, the little play on the last name. Love when the players have a bit of creativity when it comes to that.
It's, I think, arguably one of the best ones fit, like you said, with the last name. That one in there for a strike. I saw a few players down on the field before the game talking to me, our scoreboard operator, saying, hey, switch up tunes, walk-up songs. So got to see some of the changes here tonight as well.
That pitch in there for strike 2. Luke, if you had to pick a song to be your walk-up song specifically for the 4th of July, what are you going with?
That is a great question. I'll tell you after this pitch. That one in the dirt for a ball. I'm a big rap fan. There's a song named USA by Young Dolph, one of my favorite rappers. I'd go with that. Obviously USA.
Right.
What about you?
See, I would say my answer, but that was the same as Tommy Kerwin, who we interviewed in the pregame process. That interview will be played on the broadcast later today, so I won't spoil it. I'll let the fans find out who both Tommy Kerwin and I pick later on in the contest.
It's a great choice. I know the answer. I'm not going to spoil it. Great choice by both of y'all.
It's the classic. It's the iconic one. Yeah. Maybe not the one that some of the older fans would think you give, but I feel like all the fans in the teenagers, 20s would agree with me on this one. That's a big walk there for Nick Izzo. Plays it patiently, waits his turn, and gets rewarded with a walk. The first base runner for the Doubledays. Now Mike Gialucci up to bat for Auburn with a runner on first.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I want to see from this team. Good at-bats. You're not getting all 8 back in one swing. Work your counts. Work Elijah Benton on the mound. Obviously had a 1-2-3 inning and retired the first batter here in the second. So make him work on the mound. Good job by Izzo working a walk there.
Pitch comes in, swung on, fouled off by Gialucci. Gialucci, one of the members of a stacked catching core for this Doubledays squad out of Villanova University. Makes a pretty good cast there between Troy Reeder at Notre Dame, Anthony DeCesare at University of Delaware, and now we've got Gialucci from Villanova. That's some powerful squads.
That's a 3-headed monster if I've ever seen one. You feel confident every single day with who you're penciling in behind the plate.
Gialucci's fallen behind 0-2 in the count going against Benton. Chops that one foul, stays alive.
And then, of course, with the DH and extra hitter, they're all great hitters as well. You could have a game if you wanted to have 3 catchers in your lineup, one behind the plate and 2 being a designated hitter and an extra hitter if you wanted to, if you're Matt Petrosi.
It's almost like the Ravens in football having 2 tight ends as their best receivers. That's kind of the equivalent. Having this many good catchers, you're kind of stuck with the positional flexibility. You can only play one at catcher in each game, but you can move them around to take advantage of the extra hitter rule that we have in the PGCBL. Adds more creativity to Matt Petrosi's decisions.
And we've seen it where one game, that one's low for ball number 2. We saw, ball number 1, where unfortunately Troy Reeder got hit with a pitch and had to exit the game, but Anthony Cesare came in and stepped in seamlessly. No drop off anything. So having catchers on the same level playing great, huge upgrade for this team.
That one swung on, hit, popped up, and the first baseman going to make a play. Rodderman gets underneath it for another out. The Doubledays now with 2 outs, bringing up Max Fishbein, the second baseman.
Doubledays still looking for some solid contact, few fly balls, pop flies. No real solid contact, trying to still find their way around Elijah Benton on the mound, who's been pitching a pretty solid game so far to begin this ball game.
The Doubledays third in the PGCBL in hits this season, going against a team in Geneva that sits in the bottom 3 in that same category, yet getting out-hit this contest 6-0 through nearly 2 full innings. Auburn really needs to start getting those hits on the board, or at least making more contact, because the problem is they're not even making great contact. At least with fly balls, there's some positive trends, but the Doubledays have just been either striking out, grounding out, or on a rare occasion popping out.
Yeah, we've seen ball games where the Doubledays have had about 4 or 5 hits, and they've been able to win, but it's because those are low-scoring games. That one's going to actually hit Fishbein right there, so he'll take a base, moving Izzo over to second. But with the, you need those hits in an 8-run ball game, because there's only so much you can do this where you're traveling base to base off of walks and hit by pitches and pass balls at a time. Geneva's going to limit the mistakes, and you're going to need the offense and the batters in the box to make contacts and drive in these runners.
And Geneva at this point in the game can afford to play conservatively with that 8-run cushion, as that pitch to Brendan Smith is out, or is in there for strike 1, excuse me. Smith looking to capitalize on the momentum he built for himself with that great play to end the second inning, connecting, first getting the catch in the outfield, the impressive catch, mind you, but then also throwing it in to connect for the double play. Smith being patient on that one, letting that one go. He's looking to use that momentum from the positive play to carry over to the batter's box.
Yeah, gave the crowd something to cheer about in the top half of the second, trying to give them something to cheer about here in the bottom half of the second as well.
Pitch comes in and swung on by Smith, can't make contact. Big chop at it there as he falls behind to the count 1-2 with 2 outs on the board. Doubledays do have a runner in scoring position, force out at first, second, and third. Pitch comes in and outside, good check by Brendan Smith, not chasing after that pitch. He's not chasing rainbows, he's just going for the patient batting.
Like that there from Smith. Tough pitch to lay off, but good eye from righty in the box. Ball number 2.
Pitch comes in and also outside again. 83-mile-per-hour fastball. It just misses outside, and that's what we see Elijah Benton do often. He tries to get those pitches on the outside part of the plate. Doesn't have the deepest bag, so he relies a lot on that 83, 84, maybe even 85-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, second full count here in this inning. First one resulted in a walk. Smith trying to match that or even better that here.
Pitch comes in. Both runners go, and they'll have to return back to their bases as that's fouled off by Smith. Doubledays with runners on first and second, and they kind of have the green light to just run whenever the pitch comes in. No reason not to, with 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, 3-2, 2 outs. You are on the move. Nobody holding either of the runners on, so of course they will get that ultra head start.
Both runners got on via walker hit by pitches. That one cracked to shallow center field. It's actually all three players converge, and it's the second baseman making the play in Casey Burcroft with an impressive traversing of the outfield, overtaking both the center fielder and Dylan Briggs and the shortstop and J.D. Robinson to make the play himself. That'll end the inning for the Doubledays, who got runners in scoring position but just couldn't get it done. They still trail 8-0. We'll be back here on the Auburn Doubledays Sports Network.
I'm Luke Backman here with Ryan Story, my broadcast partner, and Tommy Kerwin. Tommy, we're here on the 4th of July, halfway through the season so far. How have you enjoyed your time here in Auburn so far?
It's been amazing. I mean,
Back here in the third inning as the Doubledays trail 8-0. A big swing and a miss there from the batter in Braden Freeman, who's 0 for 1 on the night with a fielder's choice. Elko on the mound for the Doubledays. Eston Elko threw 5 pitches in the second inning, and it was a pretty good 5 pitches considering he got out of a tough situation without giving up any runs, with the situation gifted to him by starting pitcher Matt McGeorge. That shot over the glove of Tommy Kerwin caroms into left field, where it's gathered by Brendan Smith, but that'll be another single for the Geneva Redwings.
Yeah, just over the outstretched arms of Kerwin at shortstop. Another hit here, the 7th already in this ball game for Geneva.
Pitch comes in, swung on, hit over to right field. Bobby Hardy trying to get underneath it, and it'll drop right between Fishbein and Hardy as the second baseman trying to mirror exactly what happened last inning with Geneva running all the way to the opposite part of the field this time. Can't make the play, and that's going to be another free hit, gifted to the Red Wings.
Yeah, a lot of these balls for the Red Wings, just finding a place in the field that is no man's land right there. The second baseman and right fielder and Hardy and Fishbein, just both long runs to get there. Neither were able to. Glad they were able to stop a collision before it happened.
That sacrifice bunt going to be popped up in the air, foul ball. It's Brock Ratterman at the plate for Geneva. We've just seen too many singles from this Red Wings squad. If you're the Doubledays, 8 hits given up. It's just not acceptable for a team that's trying to come away with the win against a 6-win squad.
Yeah, and you needed a shutdown inning, still trying to get that here.
Pitch misses the zone, 1-1 count. The Doubledays have only 1 strikeout on the day so far, despite having faced having faced 17 batters. Just haven't been able to find success. That pitch misses the zone, ball 2.
Retterman still showing bunt here as the first baseman Izzo is creeping ever so slightly in. And of course Bonfiglio also at third base in, anticipating where this bunt will go and trying to get it out at third or see.
Fishbein coming all the way over to first. Or he's ready for the pickoff attempt. The throw down there to second, not in time. Good attempt from DeCesare. 2-2 count.
Ratterman, mad at himself, slapped the barrel of his bat as he knew that was the pitch to get down with the bunt, completely whiffed at it. So now I assume he'll be swinging with 2 strikes with the count being even. Bunt is out of play.
2-2 count, 2 runners on base. Elko throws it in, gets a swinging miss. Big strikeout there from Eston Elko for the first out of the inning.
Great job from Elko. Had to deal with Ratterman trying to bunt for 4 consecutive pitches. Was able to get his way out of that. Blew a fastball past him for a huge out, number 1.
Elko's first strikeout of the night brings up Michael Sardu, the extra hitter who singled, RBI single, in his first at-bat of the night.
Doubledays looking for a ground ball. Be a pitcher's best friend, a ground ball for inning-ending double play.
Force out at both first, second, and third. First pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Sardu followed by Burcroft and Banks, because the order will flip back to the top after Burcroft. The pitch way high, curveball doesn't get down for ball 2. And if you're Elko, you're desperately trying to get out of this inning without letting it flip back around, because we've seen the top 4 batters in the Red Wings order between Banks, Robinson, Briggs, and Santana all get on base in each of their at-bats tonight. But it's a 3-0 count for Elko against Sardu, not the start that Elko is looking for in this at-bat.
Elko certainly has the velocity. One thing that has troubled him here this summer is the command. 17 walks coming into this appearance. Being able to get the command down, he's a dangerous pitcher. That one's going to be a ball. 4 consecutive balls leading to a walk. So now bases loaded again for the 3rd straight inning.
Just not sustainable play from the Auburn Doubledays, and you have to wonder how much longer Elko can keep this up before he gets a mound visit from Matthew Petrosi. Auburn's manager has shown that he's pretty quick to pull the trigger on heading out there to have a chat with this pitcher. Not necessarily going to pull him, but he's at the very least going to have that quick chat early on. We saw it in the first inning of this contest. That first pitch in there to Casey Burcroft. Burcroft didn't take the bat off of his shoulder, but it was in there for strike 1. That one misses the zone, 1-1 count.
But that first pitch was a great bounce back pitch from Elko. Strike. Now replicate that count to at least do some sort of ball in play.
Crack, and that'll get through the gap over to right field. Hardy gets underneath it, throws it into home, and DeCesare lets it get past him, but Elko backing up is going to cover first. So just 1 run scored for the Geneva Redwings, but there's someone down at third base. That's going to be number 21, Chase Fogg, who looks to be down with some sort of lower leg injury. Hopefully just a cramp, but he looks to be in some pain. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back here on the Auburn Doubledays Sports Network. It's just a cramp, so he'll be probably fine. I just don't know if he's going to get back in like 30 seconds. So it was kind of short. He had to put the brakes on last minute. He was rounding like he was about to go on the first set of notes on the bag. Probably a good decision. No, but if he did go, he probably would have been able to make it because of the chance of him. You know what I'm doing?
As we see Chase Fogg kind of stretches leg out, we're going to read some of our sponsors, thanking them for Doubleday Baseball, A&M Graphics, Auburn Orthopedic Associates, Aflac, Auburn Bagel, Auburn Public Theater and Cafe 108, Auburn Community Hospital, Auburn Fire Department, and Auburn BID. We have plenty more. We want to say thank you throughout the rest of this game for helping make Doubleday Baseball a possibility here in the summertime.
Chase Fogg will be okay. He'll stay out there on third. But that'll bring up the top of the Red Wings order to the dangerous top, and it's Zach Banks kicking things off. He's 1 for 1 on the night with a walk and a single. Got on base both times, and that'll get past DeCesare for another free run for Geneva as they take a 10-run lead. Just not acceptable defense from this Auburn squad. Normally, Auburn does a great job of limiting the free runs, but they've just been giving them out left and right today. Geneva scoring runs like they're taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, right now it has been just on airplane mode for Geneva. It seems like anything they want, they've been able to get. Doubledays making mistakes left and right on the defensive side.
And DeCesare, who's normally such a steady hand back there behind the plate, he just had 2 plays in a row where he's let the ball get past him. One of them ended up not mattering because Fogg stayed at third base. But it's just been a somewhat sloppy game for the Doubledays as a team today. They really need to bounce back if they want to have any chance of making this a competitive contest here on the 4th of July.
Yeah, Geneva's come out. They've thrown a few haymakers. They haven't just thrown the first punch. They've thrown a few punches. Auburn trying to skip back and for a few of their own. As that pitch just misses. I'm where exactly that one missed. Curveball just inside for Elko.
Luke, you're a boxing guy. We all know that. It's one of your specialties. And in boxing, you see it all the time. That pitch over the head of Zach Banks. He wasn't happy about that one. You see it all the time in boxing. Just a fight starts off and one guy's winning so handily that it doesn't really matter how the other guy bounces back. Sometimes just a hot start can be all that you need to win. No matter how Auburn fights back, they might not have a chance in this one, but it's at least good to see some grit as they try to come back. But that one will get through the middle of the infield and score another 2 runs as the Auburn Doubledays now trail 12-0, having given up 4 runs like clockwork in each of the first 3 innings.
Yeah, just tough right there. Elko worked a full count, and then Banks, good piece of hitting, going right back up the middle. 2 runners on second and third. We're going to score easily. And for Auburn, 4, 4, and 4. That's what I'm looking at the scoreboard there out in left center field. The first 3 innings, Auburn just having trouble putting away this Red Wings offense.
10 hits for a Geneva squad that hasn't been able to get hits the entire campaign, unless they've been playing the Doubledays, was that 11-1 victory mercy rule in their last contest. That pitch from Elko nearly got away from DeCesare again. The veteran catcher going to have a chat with Elko on the mound as they try to connect. It's 1 out on the board. Elko trying to get out of the trouble he's kind of put himself in, but a lot of damage already done, and this 12-0 deficit is absolutely brutal for the Doubledays here. J.D. Robinson at the plate, 1 for 1 on the day. That one fouled off behind him. Had a single in his first at-bat, a hit by pitch in his second. This is a 1-1 count. The top of the order for Geneva has been nasty so far this game. We've seen Banks get on base all 3 times, and then the next 3 guys up have all gotten on base in each of their at-bats so far. Robinson, Briggs, and Santana trying to do it all again here in the top of the 3rd. Doubledays getting out hit 10-0. And it just seems like Elko's been a bit too wild in the start. Too wild even for DeCesare. He's let a few balls slip past him. 3-1 count, and Elko just 1 ball away from getting another runner in scoring position. Banks toying around over there at first, and is that one too high? The miss upstairs puts runners on both first and second base.
Crowd here at Falcon Park thought that one strike was their displeasure. Another walk for Geneva on first and second. See Matt Petrosi come out to the mound here.
You have to wonder if this is the end of the night for Eston Elko. This is the first mound visit for him, but just has been a rough start. Had a great end to the second inning, but here in the third has given up 4 runs, and it really doesn't seem like there's light at the end of the tunnel for the young pitcher as he'll step off the mound. Again, 2 runners on base. That'll bring up a new pitcher for the Auburn Doubledays. We'll be back to you shortly after a quick intermission.
I'm Luke Backman here with Ryan Story, my broadcast partner, and Tommy Kerr.
Real helpful.
Back here in the third inning, and there's a new pitcher for the Doubledays. We have not been informed of his name yet, but we'll let you know when we hear about it. So the first pitch there misses the zone, and that's another ball for a 2-0 count. Just a tough start for the Auburn Doubledays, who have just struggled in nearly every aspect of this contest, whether it's been at the plate, in the field, on the mound, haven't found their footing in any ways. That one swung on and whiffed. Great pitch there to get Briggs swinging. It's a 2-1 count. And we saw Matt McGeorge make it through just 1 1/3 inning, and Alco coming up even shorter with just 1 inning of work. Pitch swung on and missed again. A great chop at it there. Gonna force the batter in Tyler Skaggs Dylan Briggs to step away from it, kind of find his footing here as it's a 2-2 count. He tried to check that last swing, just could not stop himself in time. And that's a runner over to third. Zach Banks will steal a base. Great steal from the speedy Zach Banks, who we've seen terrorize pitchers on the base paths this season.
Yeah, that's going to be number 12 in the stolen base department for Banks. Interesting enough, J.D. Robinson, who's at first, didn't follow suit with a double steal, so if they are able to get a ground ball, the Doubledays, they still have an opportunity for a double play to get out of this inning. Big if, though, because they've not been able to produce one.
And there will be the steal. No steal needed, however, as that will be a walk that loads the bases yet again. Robinson would have easily made it over to second, but Briggs will get the bases loaded with some patient batting, and that brings up Aiken Santana, who has had 2 singles that have plated 4 runs for the Geneva Redwings. Has a chance to add on to his 4 RBI total this game. This is the 5th time that Geneva has gotten the bases loaded. Not sustainable if you're the Auburn Doubledays. That one chopped, hit deep into center field. Meyer tracking it, gets underneath it, and comes down with it. But a run will score. 2 runners tag up. That's going to be Robinson advancing to third, Banks advancing home, as this lead is now up to 13 for the Geneva Redwings.
Adding on to his RBIs here tonight. Pitch from the deep center field, the job by Meyer tracking it, but well enough deep. There's going to be no contest on either runner tagging home or tagging the third.
That one hit again. This one out of play from Tyler Skaggs, the catcher.
Skaggs, the only hitter in the lineup for the Red Wings who has not batted here in this 3rd inning. Braden Freeman on deck led the inning off here in the top of the 3rd.
As a steal attempt, and he will get there. That's Briggs making a play over at second and getting the stolen base with Skaggs on the mound, or excuse me, in the batter's box. Skaggs will be followed up by Braden Freeman and Chase Fogg, who each singled in their last at-bat. That pitch in there for strike number 2.
Great pitch right there. Freezing Skaggs at the plate. We've got 2 strikes trying to get out of this 3rd inning. Some of the offense up there in the bottom half of the inning.
As the pitch comes in and not swung on and not called a strike. That one on the zone. We saw Skaggs a little hesitant. Didn't know if that was in there, but it will not be called a strike for a 2-2 count. And there are 2 outs on the board with runners on second and third. So would be big for Elko to get out of this inning. Could be the last batter he faces today. That pitch just a tad too high, loads up the count, and a walk here would make the bases loaded again and bring up Braden Freeman, a dangerous hitter for the Geneva squad. The payoff pitch comes and isn't even close to the plate. That's going to load the bases, and you have to wonder how much longer we'll see. Excuse me, it's not Elko, it's the pitcher that we don't know the name of, but just 3 pitchers in a row for the Doubledays who have not found any form of success trying to get out of this one without giving up another run.
Yeah, just tough all the way around. The Doubledays on the mound here tonight.
That one hit high, foul ball. Bases are loaded, and it's Braden Freeman up to bat. And again, we've seen Matt Petrosi be quick with his mound visits today, opting not to use one here.
Freeman got this inning started with a leadoff single. The 11th batter to come up to the plate here in the bottom, or excuse me, the top of the 3rd inning.
In the first inning seemed bad, and we were wondering how the Doubledays were going to react to it. Since then, we've seen Geneva either match or outscore that 4-run first inning. That one cracked into left field, drops short of Smith, and that'll play at least 2 more runs, and it will just be 2 runs, but another 2 RBI single for a Red Wings squad that's had plenty of those today.
Now batting the left fielder, number 21, Chase Fogg.
Not much to say that we haven't said already. Red Wings just destroying and eating up the pitching for the Doubledays.
A 15-0 lead as Auburn is just not playing competitively at all. And I mentioned heading into this game, Geneva wins by getting singles. They have 0 0 extra base hits this contest, yet have put up 15 runs. Luke, how often are you going to see that?
I was just about to say before you threw it over to me, I don't think I've ever seen that. 15 runs, 11 hits, and not a single extra base hit. Truthfully incredible. I mean, the closest thing was the single hit by, where is it?
Yeah, Aiken Santana.
Yep, exactly.
The one that was an error by Sam Meyer out there in center field. So we saw Santana get all the way around to third, but only one of those bases, was counted on the stat sheet.
Exactly. So something I have not seen, I don't think, ever. And unfortunately for the Doubledays, it's against them. But as the old saying goes, every time you come to the ballpark, you see something new. I'm definitely seeing something new here. Unfortunately, it's not going in the way of the Doubledays so far.
It is not, and it's a 2-1 count to Chase Fogg, who is 1 for 2 on the night, singled in the top of this inning, at the start of this inning. It's a 3-1 count against Fogg. So we hit 7:45 Eastern time, and another pitch not even close to the zone, and that's going to load the bases up yet again. We've already said it, but we'll say it again, and that'll cue a visit to the mound from Matt Petrosi as the Doubledays look to be in danger of falling behind by even more than their current 15-run deficit.
Ryan, if we got paid by saying bases are loaded, I think we'd have a good amount of money here tonight. It's been just, it's like a Ferris wheel just going up and around and around. A pitching change on the mound. Once again, it's going to be the fourth pitcher coming in for the Doubledays, and we haven't even completed 3 innings. So we'll see if the pitcher will be able to get out of this jam here with the bases loaded yet again.
We'll be back to you shortly with more information here on the Auburn Doubledays Sports Network. The new pitcher for the Auburn Doubledays, Zach Ruffing, the new guy. He's making yet another appearance. We saw him just a few days ago wearing the same number as former starting pitcher Brendan Heilman. That first pitch cracked over to left field, and it's the shortstop and Tommy Kerwin coming down with it for the quick final out of the inning. But the damage has been done. 7 runs scored by the Red Wings there in the 3rd inning to expand a 15-0 lead. We'll be back to see if Auburn can cut into the deficit at all in the bottom of the 3rd. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball.
Kerr, yeah, Kerr, Central Texas.
Imagine pretty far away from
Yeah.
too worried about it.
I think, yeah, it's over by San Antonio. Oh, wow, that's actually, that's like where my sister usually, where she'd do like, she'd be a camp counselor, for summer camp. But she's literally texting me.
Leading off for the Doubledays, third baseman from Eastern Connecticut State. number
Back
23,
here, still in the third inning as the Doubledays trail 15-0. It'll be Mike Bonfiglio coming up to the plate for his first at-bat of the night. And Luke, when you've seen nearly the entire Red Wings order bat 3 times, well, we still have Doubledays players in their first at-bat. Not generally a great sign for success.
Yeah, no, when you have a touchdown and a 2 touchdowns and an extra point conversion on the board for the opposing team, and you're still at 0. You know, got a lot of work to do, to say the least, for the Doubledays as Bonfiglio comes to the plate. It's been a rough night here in Auburn at Falcon Park for the Doubledays, but again, still time to try and turn it around. It'd be an incredible comeback that we'd see. Talk about fireworks on the field if that would be the case.
We once saw our country trail 13 states to none and make a comeback over Great Britain. So 13 colonies, excuse me. So we'll see how the Doubledays can do it. We've seen some impressive comebacks in our nation's past, so maybe Auburn can add on to that list. That one cracked into left field and will land just foul, and that looked like it could have been fair. A tough break for an Auburn Doubledays team looking for any glimmers of hope.
Yeah, for Auburn, you're just shaking your heads like nothing can go our way, as that had to have been like 4 inches from being inside the line for being a fair ball. Bonfiglio got all of that one, but just foul. That would have been a rope down the deep left field line. He would have been at second easily if that stayed fair.
Would have been a stand-up single. You know, with Bonfiglio's speed, if there was any throwing mishaps or fielding mishaps, he would have been able to even get to third potentially. Bonfiglio doesn't look like the fastest guy, but he's deceptively quick on the base paths. It's a 3-1 count. Pitch comes in, swung on by Bonfiglio straight to the shortstop, and Robinson throws it way high. A good play there by Riderman to knock it down, but that's a base hit for the Auburn Doubledays, their first hit of the night.
Hey, you put the ball in play, good things will happen. Bonfiglio, absolute laser, similar to the one he hit that was foul. Got everything out of that ball. Hit it right at the shortstop. Robinson, who just was not able to field it at all. Or he was able to field it. The throw was high to the first baseman. Hey, you will take it.
The first hit of the night for the Auburn Doubledays. They had previously gotten 2 base runners on with a walk from Nick Izzo and a hit by pitch by Max Fishbein. That brings up Bobby Hardy, the right fielder, the final batter in the Auburn Doubledays order, still in his first at-bat of the night. Doesn't swing at that pitch. That's a bit too low.
Doubledays are able to complete this comeback. Not saying, you know, anything's on the table. I think it would rival the Justin Miller walk-off slam 2011. I know Jimmy, our scoreboard operator, was here for that game, was talking about it earlier. The game was in 2011. Also on the 4th of July, I think. Stack up with this win in case the Doubledays were able to mount a 15-run comeback lot. To do if that was to be in order. Tall task ahead of them.
And, you know, Luke, it seems impossible, but we've seen the Doubledays score well over 15 runs in a game before. No reason they can't do it. Here's that one hit past the outstretched arms of Casey Burcroft, and that'll be yet another base runner. That was a tough play that Burcroft had to make. Got his glove on it, but the velocity on the hit from Hardy just forced the ball to rip right through the tips of that glove.
Yeah, that one just, I think it hit just the top of Burkhoff's glove. But what I like about that, both Bonfiglio and Hardy, those were absolutely lasers off their bat. So looks like they're getting a little bit of a better read on Elijah Benton. Of course, those were each of those hitters' first times at bat here tonight. So hopefully now as the lineup flips to the top and Tyler Vivacqua, they're going to feel a little more confident coming up to the plate.
And the Doubledays faithful starting to get a little loud. You know, Luke, it's the 4th of July. They've just been looking for something to cheer for, and the Doubledays finally giving it to them.
100% as 2 hits, you know, hard line drives, and then that first pitch ball to Vivacqua is going to bring out Skaggs to the mound just to reconvene with Benton, who, you know, he was in the dugout for a long time in that top of the 3rd inning. Maybe his arm got a little bit cold. You know, that top of the 3rd inning went on for about 25, 30 minutes, I'd have to say. So that's a long time, especially for a starting pitcher who was rolling for those first 2 innings, you know, to kind of sit there waiting to come out for the bottom of the 3rd. So good job by the Doubledays immediately jumping on him here.
And to be fair, the Doubledays getting 2 base hitters on here, that's almost what was expected coming to this game, to get base runners out against Elijah Benton, who has a 7.71 ERA on the campaign. The Doubledays need to take advantage of a pitcher in Benton who doesn't necessarily have the greatest stuff. His velocity's not amazing, but so far he's been picking apart Auburn's lineup. We've seen Bonfiglio and Hardy both get hits. Now can the top of the lineup do the same damage? Pitch misses the zone again. 2-1 count.
Aqua grounded out to the 3rd baseman in his first at-bat, Santana. Try change that result with a runner in scoring position.
The top of the Doubledays lineup went down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 1st. It's Vivacqua followed by Kerwin and Meyer. 2-2 count as that last pitch barely clipped the edge of the strike zone. 2 looking strikes for Vivacqua in this at-bat. He's being patient, waiting for the right pitch. And that's what the Doubledays need to be doing. Obviously, you want to be aggressive. You want to go for those home run swings, but sometimes just getting those walks and singles. That's how we've seen Geneva score all their runs, as that one cracked past the 3rd baseman this time. That's Santana not able to get down to get to it. Bonfiglio coming home, and there's Bonfiglio's speed, making for the first run of the game for the Auburn Doubledays.
And there you go. You put the ball in play, going just past the outstretched hand of Santana there at 3rd base into left field. Interesting cutoff there, I think, from Santana. I think that would have been a bang-bang play at the plate. I think Bonfiglio still might have got in there, but interesting cutoff there. Either way, Doubledays will take it. They have their first run on the board here tonight.
And that's where I think being a bit too conservative can certainly hurt the Red Wings here. Obviously, a 15-run lead is plenty of insurance, but there are some times where you just get too complacent and you want to limit anything worse from happening, so you just make the safe play. And if the Doubledays can get enough of those safe plays to make this game competitive, you never know what could happen. This Doubledays team has been known to surprise opposing squads throughout the season.
Still nobody out. You still got runners on. The Doubledays looking for a lot more here in this 3rd inning.
That pitch in there for strike 1. As the Auburn fans not too thrilled with that call. We have seen a lot of the 50-50 calls go against Auburn here, but that's just statistics. Some of them are going to go against you, some of them are going to go for you. That pitch high and inside. Benton up to 50 pitches through nearly 3 innings of work. And the Red Wings still in their first pitcher while Auburn cycled through 4. But you have to imagine that Benton, despite going through the first 2 innings with ease, can't imagine he's going for a 6-7 inning performance. He's more looking at probably the 4 to 5 innings. That last pitch, another one on the outside part of the plate that the Doubledays fans weren't too thrilled about being called a strike.
Definitely voicing their displeasure with home plate umpire.
That one swung on, fouled off, will be potentially in play into foul territory, and that's Santana coming down with it. Looked like it might have been on pace to travel all the way to foul territory, but instead, it's Santana tracking it before it reaches the Brown. Sam Meyer stepping up to the plate, the 3-hitter for the Doubledays, looking for his first hit of the night. He flew out in his first at-bat. Tommy Kerwin 0 for 2. We just saw him pop out. He's in his last game as an Auburn Doubleday. And there's a steal attempt, a double steal after the passed ball. It was originally Bobby Hardy who got the steal, and then Tyler Vivacqua going to head over to second after the ball got past catcher Tyler Skaggs.
Yeah, nobody holding on Bobby Hardy at second, so he just kept increasing that lead and then realized, hey, I'm already basically halfway to second, or third, excuse me. I'm going to take off. Good job by Hardy, and then looks like it kind of fooled Skaggs. He's catching it off guard, trying to get it over to third in time, but took his eye off the ball, got to the backstop. Vivacqua followed suit. They got runners second and third, still 1 out for the meat of your lineup. Order, excuse me.
The pitch comes in and catches the strike zone. So 1-1 count. The Doubledays have 2 runners in scoring position. And if they would have any chance in this game, both of those runners need to find home base.
100%. Leave this inning 1 run. Make a comeback.
Pitch is outside, or is in there right on the very edge. We've seen Benton do a good job this game of playing with the outside part of the plate, not giving the Doubledays anything easy over the middle that they can capitalize on.
Yeah, Meyer kind of looked back at the plate umpire like, really? That was a strike?
That one not going to be called a strike, way high and outside.
But to the defense of the plate umpire, he's called it fair for both sides. That
Yes.
outside pitch has been a strike, whether it be Auburn pitching or Geneva pitching. While the batters might not be happy, I know the pitchers are on the mound.
Benton certainly loving it. He's getting through his 3rd inning of work. That one in the dirt for a full count now. Meyer's been battling to stay alive. Has Benton near 60 pitches on the day. Meyer on the campaign for the Doubledays has been electric. Batting .277, but has plenty of power. His slugging up to .385. However, he has gone through a bit of a slump recently as he'll take that one for ball. And we saw just a few weeks ago his batting average was well into the 300s, but that walk there from Elijah Benton is going to cue a mound visit from Thomas Eaton, who's going to have a quick chat with his pitcher Benton. I can't imagine that this is the end of the day for the young pitcher, but it's an opportunity for the Doubledays to kind of see they've got the bases loaded. You've got Anthony DeCesare stepping up, followed by Nick Izzo. Can you do some damage and make this, as we've talked about, a more competitive contest?
Yeah, as Benton's going to stay in, there's been no call to the bullpen, and I didn't really expect anything, as there's no arms warming, and when you have a 14-run lead, you got a longer leash if you're on the mound. I think this is just to calm down Benton, who's thrown some good pitches, but not able to find ways to punch out and get the put-out pitches against the Doubledays. And credit to Auburn's offense here. They've been working good counts, and now, like you mentioned, DeCesare up with the bases loaded. This is a huge at-bat in this ball game. DeCesare can certainly, one pitch do a lot of damage. Looking to do so here.
I like how you mentioned it's just that Benton hasn't been able to punch people out, still looking for his first strikeout of the contest. As that one grounded just barely fouled down the third base line. Benton, not really a strikeout pitcher, just 5 fans through his 11.2 innings of work prior to this contest.
Yeah, so also that extended meeting on the mound, letting the defense know, be ready. If this ball is in play, be ready to make a play.
Pitch comes in and gets in there for a strike. It's an 0-2 count, as we've seen nearly all of the strikes thrown by Benton this inning be looking strikes.
I believe a warning was issued for the dugout of the Auburn Doubledays for disagreeing balls and strikes there. As that pitch was loaded to Cesare, called a strike. Crowd didn't like it. I don't think someone in the Doubledays dugout did either, so plate umpire said, hey, I've had enough. Next one might be an ejection, but just a warning for now.
See if DeCesare can capitalize on the little break he was given. Fouls that one off again. It's an 0-2 count with one out on the board, but the bases are loaded. We've seen plenty of bases loaded scenarios for the Red Wings. Now Auburn trying to strike back with some of their own. Still trailing in the hits column 11-2. And one thing that we've noticed, obviously, three hits for the Doubledays so far, but those 3 hits, obviously all 3 different batters, but for the Red Wings, nearly their entire lineup has gotten at least 1 hit. Of those 11 hits, 8 different batters getting one, with Dylan Briggs getting on base all 3 times, just not getting a hit, and Brock Ratterman, who ended that last inning 0 for 3 on the contest, the only 0 for 3 hitter for the Red Wings. Pitch comes in and misses the zone, a 2-2 count. 2 consecutive balls thrown by Benton.
Cesare trying to work himself back in this count. Originally was down 0-2, fouled it off. Now 2 straight balls. Trying to get something to hit here.
Pitch comes in and swung on by DeCesare, going to the center fielder, and will be too lofted. Briggs gets underneath it, but the run will score. That's going to be Bobby Hardy coming home, and he'll play another run for the Auburn Doubledays. The tag up on the sacrifice fly was tough because we saw Briggs coming in, get underneath it, have a little bit of pep in his step, and with the arm that Briggs has out there in center field, he could have made that throw home, and there was a little bit of hesitation from Bobby Hardy, but his speed ended up proving to be too much for the Red Wings.
Yeah, it's the second time that's happened. I just don't understand the cutoff man cutting that ball off. I saw Skaggs behind the plate kind of shake his head once Ratterman did, saying, at least let there be a play at the plate, because I do think Hardy would have got in there. But let there be a play at the plate. Hey, Geneva, they're the ones up that are at 13 runs. I think just, something interesting, and, a game later on, or even in this ball game, something to think about, is Auburn clearly testing the arms of the outfielders, and the infielders cutting the balls off. So just, something I've noticed, and is interesting to me.
It's a 15-2 contest as that pitch way outside for ball 2. The Doubledays, after being held scoreless in the first 2 innings, really striking back here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. A lot of work still to do, but it's at least a sign of life from a Doubleday squad that looked absolutely defeated early on, as that pitch will be low and in the dirt, get past the glove of Skaggs, and both Doubledays runners will advance in a 3-0 count.
You know what I think actually caused that is Vivacqua was on second, took a big lead in secondary off of second base, and looked like he was going to go and steal third. Following suit was Sam Meyer at first, who was following Vivacqua's lead. Then Vivacqua put on the brakes. Sam Meyer also put on the brakes. But I think Skaggs was already thinking, oh, these guys are pulling off a double steal, which they weren't. Again, took his eye off the ball, allowed the ball to get past him. Both runners now advancing 90 feet. So just the pressure on the base path right there from Auburn Doubledays, I believe, is what caused that pass ball.
It's been far from a flawless day for catcher Tyler Skaggs, but he hasn't needed to be perfect. But he has 15 run support. That pitch in there for strike 1. It's a 3-1 count now to Nick Izzo going against Elijah Benton. And you have to wonder how many more batters Benton's going to be facing. Some work now in the bullpen of the Red Wings, as that pitch will miss the zone for ball 4. It's a walk for Nick Izzo. The bases are loaded yet again, and that'll get a mound visit from Thomas Eaton, and that'll likely end the night of Elijah Benton. We'll be back here on the Auburn Doubledays Sports Network with more information when we come back.
Let's wait.
Events can be
Yeah, let's wait here just because
these green and great and delicious foods and beverages, and addition to
I agree with
Auburn
that.
Doubledays baseball, they also support the Auburn Theater, donating 100% of their profits to the theater to help make
That's fine. I'll
affordable
come back a little
performance
early
to
and do some
our
more
city.
sponsors.
Okay.
Cover Sunday. This new guy.
Cannon Van Dusen. That's a great name for what? My bad, my bad. I couldn't think of what they were called.
Back here in the bottom of the third inning, and the Doubledays will be facing a new pitcher. Elijah Benton will exit with 2 runs given up, 3 hits allowed, 3 walks, and a hit by pitch. Still 0 strikeouts, but luckily he had plenty of run support. Not have the chance to earn the win though, because now it's going to be Cannon Van Duzer on the mound. Cannon Van Duzer, a senior out of SUNY Brockport, standing 6'2", 318. Bats lefty, throws righty, and has plenty of power behind his arm. That pitch gets in there for strike 2.
Deluzzi taken. Walk behind excuse me, gonna step out of the batter's box, out of the hitting circle entirely after that pitch was called a strike, trying to regather himself. He not happy with that call.
Van Duzer, 2 pitches, 2 strikes so far. 2 outs on the board as Van Duzer's trying to get out of a sticky situation. Bases loaded for the Doubledays, and a swing and a miss from Mike Gialuzzi that'll end the inning. And a tough break for a Doubledays squad that absolutely needed more than 2 runs there, but it is a good start. We'll see if the Doubledays can capitalize on this momentum when we come back here in the 4th inning.
Mr. Pizza of Auburn, in addition to their delicious pizza, they also serve the best of
Jimmy, I mentioned you twice on the broadcast today.
So check them out on Wall Street, right here in Auburn.
Now I said players are talking to Jimmy, the scoreboard operator, to change the walk-up songs, and then I was talking about the 2011 walk-off home run. I was like, Jimmy was there for that game.
Yeah. No, the soccer player wasn't watching, so she didn't say. Yeah. She's at camp and she doesn't get service. Oh well. See you next. Where the hell am I? Actually, we have a semi-final playoff game. Oh, there's Nick.
Leading off forward, Geneva, the extra hitter.
Back here in the top of the fourth inning, and the Doubledays cut into the lead of the Red Wings in that third inning. Now it's a 15-2 ball game, so a 13-run lead for the Red Wings. Kicking things off for the Red Wings is going to be Michael Sardou, who's 1 for 1 on the night.
First pitch is going to be high to Sardou. As
One hit, one walk for the Red Wings for Michael Sardou of the Red Wings so far tonight. That one swung on and fouled off.
Zach Ruffing still on the mound here for the Doubledays.
Ruffing got out of some trouble there in the third. He's the fourth pitcher that the Red Wings have faced today. And that one cracked past, does get there. That's going to be Max Fishbein making a fantastic play. What a stellar throw and snag there from Max Fishbein. Great play over there at second.
What a play there. That ball looked like it was getting into the outfield, no doubt about it. I think maybe even right center field. Stopping that on a dime. What a play for out number one.
And that looked like it was going to be a no-brainer single, but instead the play was made. So it appears it was Tyler Vivacqua that ended up making that play as the Doubledays did some defensive rotations in the middle of the inning. Again, on the mound, it's Zach Ruffing who got out of that last inning, and that's where Vivacqua's defense really shows up. That's a play that not many second basemen could have made, and Vivacqua making a brilliant play there.
Great job by Vivacqua. Hey, Auburn hadn't been able to get the first batter of the inning all night, so that's, you got to start somewhere. Good job by Vivacqua helping execute that ground out.
That ball cracked over to Kerwin, and Kerwin can't gather it. Throws it over to first and does not get there in time. Kerwin just could not gather it. Still finding his bearings over there at short. As unfortunately another base runner for the Geneva Red Wings. The second time in this game, Casey Burkhoff's gotten on base in the 10 slot.
Yeah, great recovery there from Kerwin, and a dart over there at first. Good split by Nick Izzo. With the speedy Burkhoff just able to leg it out and beat the throw, that infield single.
It's a 1-0 count with one out on the board, bringing up the top of the order in Zach Banks, who's 2 for 2 with a walk and then 2 singles. Banks with the 1-0 count. He's a dangerous batter for this Geneva squad as he lets that one go. It's a 2-0 count now. But Banks batting .342 with a super impressive .513 slugging percentage. Of all the players on the Red Wings, this is by far the most likely to get those extra base hits that we haven't really seen Geneva get all season. Leads the team in doubles with 6. It actually has both the only triples for the team with 2 and the only home run of the Red Wings with 1.
Yeah, he's been a problem at the plate, terrorizing pitchers around the league all season.
That will be a quick walk there to get Banks over to first and Burkhoff over to second, bringing up J.D. Robinson, who's also not gotten out yet tonight. Walked in his first at-bat, hit by a pitch in his second, singled in his first at-bat, hit by a pitch in his second, walked in his third. as J.D. Robinson at the plate with 2 runners on base. And a grad student out of Houghton University. As both Banks and Burcroft are ready to go if needed. It's Robinson at the plate with the 0-1 count after the foul ball. Pitch comes in way high, almost clips to the head of J.D. Robinson. He's already been hit by a pitch once today.
Yeah, Robinson stepping up to the plate for his 4th time tonight again. 4th inning. How well the bats have been swinging for this Red Wings ball club.
It's a 1-1 count and the throw pickoff attempt over to second. That's going to be the pitcher and roughing connecting with Vivacqua, not getting there in time. As the pitch comes in and too high again, also high and inside for a 2-1 count.
Rally caps right here at Falcon Park. The fans doing anything they can to try and help this team back in this ball game, even if it is superstition.
That one hit deep into left field, very high, but going to be actually a bit shorter than was expected. We saw Brendan Smith, the left fielder, kind of start backing up. He was ready for that ball to be gone, and kind of following the old baseball adage of it's easier to run forward than backwards, plays it too far back, runs up underneath it, makes a great catch for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, the play and something you're taught when you're playing young, if you're in the outfield, it's your first step always has to be back. Because if your first step is forward and the ball's over your head, it's a lot harder to recover than say you take that first back step, and Smith displayed that perfectly there in left field.
That pitch in there for strike 1. It's Dylan Briggs at the plate, another batter who has yet to get out through his 3 at-bats, capitalized on an error in his first and has walked twice since then. And another strike there, as we see Ruffing just 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. Would be the first scoreless inning for the Doubledays the entire game.
I chalked that up in the win department if Auburn's able to get out of this inning without giving up any runs.
Ruffing gets a swing and chops that one off foul. So Briggs will stay alive. Ruffing desperately trying to get out of this one. Ruffing in just his 2nd home appearance as a Doubleday. Did a pretty solid job in his first showing. Now trying to keep the good streak going for the Doubledays, who are in danger of losing their 2nd home contest of the year. That one fouled off down the right side yet again.
And here's the thing, I mean, nothing has come easy for the Doubledays here tonight. Even when they've gotten outs, it's been long at-bats worked by the Red Wings. You know, they're not going up there and just swinging at everything. So it's been, tough sledding, it feels like, for the pitchers and the hitters for Auburn here tonight.
That is true. As that pitch swung on and missed, a beautiful strikeout there from Zach Ruffing to end the top of the 4th inning. Finally, 0 runs scored by the Red Wings. We'll be back in the bottom of the 4th as Auburn has put together 2 pretty solid half innings. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. back here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and the Doubledays looking to create some fireworks on the offensive end. Scored 2 runs in their last time up. Now it's Max Fishbein, kicking things off. And speaking of fireworks, we won't have any fireworks tonight, but we will have some on next Saturday, so a week from tomorrow, the 12th, and that is HOA Day, the 5th annual HOA event. We'll have fireworks after the game for that. The game will start at 7 p.m. that day, not our normal 6:30. Admission free to all that scan the QR code on the Instagram post or pick up a ticket at any of the HOA offices. There's also going to be a gift for the first 500 guests, a recognition ceremony, and more. A gift for all cancer survivors as well. So don't miss out. That's going to be a fun one. Again, Saturday, July 12th for the 5th annual Cancer Care Celebration with the Auburn Doubledays.
It's going to be a great day at the ballpark. Make sure you come out. You do not want to miss it.
As we've seen Max Fishbein quickly fall into an 0-2 count against the pitcher in Cannon Van Duzer, and that pitch in there for strike 3. Fishbein certainly did not agree with that call, but Van Duzer just been mowing through the 2 Doubledays he's seen so far. That'll bring up Brendan Smith, who's had a great day in the field, now in his second at-bat, looking for his first hit of the night. That pitch going to be laid off on from Smith.
I gotta say, with a name like Cannon, with a K, I mean, if you're a marketing team, that's perfect for you. With any type of strikeouts, Cannon with a K, I think that would be,
It's got to be. We saw the Doubledays didn't strike out through the entire reign of Elijah Benton. Now Van Duzer on the mound faced 2 batters, struck them both out, and both times not giving up a single ball. Now a 2-1 count in this at-bat against Brendan Smith.
Also working quickly, Van Duzer, excuse me.
3-1 count to Smith. He's fighting to get on base. The pitch comes in and misses the zone. That will be a walk. The first walk given up by Van Duzer. Smith will get on base. Smith having a pretty impressive day for the Doubledays so far. A bright spot in a game with not too many of those for the Doubledays. Smith has looked good. Now Bonfiglio stepping up to the plate. He singled in his first and only at-bat last inning.
Yeah, Bonfiglio trying to do something similar. Saw the ball well. Hit a rocket off his bat. One that went foul would have been a double, and then the single, that one's going to be in there for strike number 1.
Bonfiglio not too happy with that call. Had a quick chat with the umpire. Seemed to understand the reason behind the call afterwards. So 0-1 count. That one swung on, hit into center field. That's Briggs tracking it, getting underneath it. It'll come down with the easy snag. Barely had to move, and now there's 2 outs on the board.
Bonfiglio gave it a ride out there to center field. Just Briggs playing out there deep, knowing Bonfiglio does have strength. They hit it out there, didn't have to move too much. Quick out number 2. Doubledays just trying to put something together. Haven't been able to, other than that 3rd inning where they scored 2 and left 3 on base.
And normally I'd say those fly balls are at least a step in the right direction. Eventually they'll start landing where the fielders aren't. But when you're down by 13 runs, you can't afford to have steps in the right direction. You need leaps and bounds. And the Doubledays just haven't had that yet. Had a chance in the bottom of the 3rd with the bases loaded, having already scored 2 runs. As that one hit deep into left field, and another play by the outfielder. This time Fogg comes down with it for the final out of the inning. And we've seen the Doubledays get some rides on their deep hits into the outfield, but each time it seems like the Red Wings have gotten underneath it to come down with easy outs. We'll see how Auburn responds in the 5th, as it's going to be Aiken Santana, who has 5 RBIs on the day, stepping up to bat. We'll be back here in the top of the 5th inning.
least I mean, that's what I assume.
No, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Because everyone else is where they were.
Getting off for Geneva, the third baseman, number 13, Aiken
Kicking things
Santana.
off for the Red Wings here in the top of the fifth, it's going to be Aiken Santana. Had a 2 RBI single in his first at bat, had another 2 RBI single in his second. If you'll notice, that was because he had that hit into center field that landed short of Sam Meyer, but just bounced past Sam Meyer, so he only gets credited with 2 RBIs, even though 3 runners scored on that play. Then had another RBI on a sacrifice fly to center again in his third at bat. Coming up for his fourth at bat, we need a home run to add on to his total.
He's certainly been a thorn in the side of Doubleday pitching here tonight.
That one hit into center field yet again. And it's going to be the second baseman coming over, Tyler Vivacqua, making the play right in front of Sam Meyer as 3 Doubledays, maybe even 4, kind of converged on that ball, but Vivacqua had the best chance at it running from in front of it.
Yeah, good job by Vivacqua going out there and making his voice heard, calling people off, making that play. Good job there. You know, Vivacqua, while he plays second base, and you usually, you know, have the shortstop be the captain of the infield, Vivacqua's voice as that first pitch is going to be outside for ball number 1 to Tyler Skaggs. His voice rings loud in the infield, and when Vivacqua is calling for, you know, hey, mine, 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 people get out of the way.
That one fouled off there by Tyler Skaggs. And yeah, you mentioned the presence that Vivacqua brings, and it's impressive coming from a freshman, again, out of Niagara University, who's instantly made his impact felt to where the past multiple games for the Doubledays, he's been the leadoff batter, at least at home. That one hit to center field. Skaggs over to Meyer, who catches it for the second out of the inning.
Fielder, number 7, Braden Freeman.
Freeman comes to the plate. He's had himself a nice night. You know, you can say that for a lot of these, the majority of the hitters that have come to the plate for Geneva tonight. First pitch going to be high to Freeman.
We've seen Ruffing have by far the best outing of the 4 pitchers who have gone out there for the Doubledays so far tonight. Matt McGeorge started off, didn't have too strong of a start, obviously. He got 4 runs in the first, only lasted a third of an inning there in the second. Then we saw Elko only last 1 full inning, and then a third pitcher who couldn't even make it through 1. So that brought up Zach Ruffing, who got a quick out there in the third, then went through the 4th scoreless, now trying to get through the 5th without giving up a run. So the pitch comes in and cracked past the shortstop, and Tommy Kerwin wasn't able to knock it down. That's Brendan Smith throwing it in. Another blooper single for this Red Wings squad.
Just, you know, just out of the reach of Kerwin. Again, Freeman has his 3rd hit of the night, has reached all 4 times. Freeman, again, this whole lineup has been an issue for Auburn pitching here.
It certainly has, and that one swung on, fouled off by Chase Fogg, who is 1 for 2 on the night. Walked it his last time up. Chase Fogg has had some impressive plays out there in left field. Has had an up and down day at the plate, however, as the pitch comes in and way inside for ball number 1.
I gotta say, Chase Fogg, all he did was bend out of the way. I give him credit. That ball was riding close to his neckline. He just, Matrix-like, just kind of moved out the way. I'd have been scurrying out of the box if I was there.
That's just the grit that comes with being a veteran on this Geneva Red Wings squad. Fogg been in the system for a few years, been in the college system as well, out of Queen's University of Charlotte. Chase Fogg, a redshirt junior, who, as I mentioned, has been through the system multiple times. Is that one, a swing and a miss there. Fogg can't touch the pitch from Ruffing. Ruffing will get out of yet another scoreless inning. We'll be back here at the bottom of the fifth. The Doubledays still trailing by just 13.
Okay, folks, Kira is on the walkway behind home plate, and it is scavenger hunt time. That means Kira's looking for a particular item, and the first person to bring her that item wins a gift card from Mesa Grande.
Alrighty guys, this one might be a little challenging, but I think we're gonna try it anyway. Alright? So the first person to bring me a paperclip gets this Mesa Grande gift card.
Oh, someone's got one.
Welcome back to Falcon Park, where it's the fifth inning. I'm Ryan Story alongside Luke Backman. And the Doubledays trying to fight to get back in this game. It's the top of the lineup queued up for Auburn. Tyler Vivacqua followed by Tommy Kerwin and Sam Meyer. Of the three, Kerwin has the only hit of the night. One of Auburn's 3 hits of the night. That was in his last at-bat. Ended up scoring a run for the Doubledays. As we saw a stretch of Bonfiglio, Hardy, and Vivacqua all get hits in a row. Bonfiglio and Hardy weren't as lucky their last time around, but now Vivacqua trying to get his second hit of the night. Auburn still trailing in the hits department 13-3. Also trailing errors 4-0.
Yeah, just been a sloppy game from Auburn all the way around. Pitching, defensively, and hitting. You know, just not the level of standard that Auburn has shown throughout this regular season, especially here at home. Coming in with a terrific home record. This is not exactly what Falcons fans here at Falcon Park were expecting.
And you mentioned the discipline that this team plays with. I think a lot of that can be credited to manager Matt Petrosi, who's really came in and set a positive culture for the Doubledays. This is a rare misstep for them. And wow, we see Vivacqua toss his bat away with force, and the pitch called a strike. Vivacqua instantly apologizing. He didn't do that out of any showmanship or wasn't trying to show up the umpire at all. Just thought that he was going to get first base with the walk and didn't want to be taken the wrong way, as that one grounded over to the pitcher right in front of first and gets there in time. The little flip from the pitcher Van Duzer over to the first baseman in Rotterman. A quick out for the Doubledays as Vivacqua is out instead of getting to first like he thought he would have been.
Hey, that was a quick out and a smooth out. I'll give credit to Van Duzer right there. Even the home crowd here kind of had a little bit of applause from him. All with the glove, fielding it, then a little flip with the glove. That was a nice play from Van Duzer for the first out.
That pitch misses the zone there, ball number 1. One of those 50-50 calls right on the outside part of the plate, and I agree. Very impressive play from Van Duzer out there in the field. We've seen him really terrorize this Doubledays order so far tonight, but also displaying his ability to use his glove, use his legs a little bit, and make a play when called upon. 3-0 count, however, for Tommy Kerwin in his last game as a Doubleday. We chatted with Kerwin a little bit before this game. We'll be playing that interview for you shortly. It's a 3-1 count.
It's been fun to watch Kerwin this summer. Wishing him best of luck in his freshman year.
Another grounder right to the pitcher Van Duzer, who throws it over to Rotterman again. Deja vu, as that will be 2 quick outs for the Doubledays.
Yeah, the solid contact that we saw earlier in this ball game when the Doubledays seemed to somewhat be getting to Elijah Benton seems to be gone as Van Duser's come in really befuddled these hitters. Couple strikeouts which we didn't see with Benton. Couple little dribblers back to the mound that Van Duser's been able to handle and fire over to first.
Yeah, and I think it just comes with Cannon Van Duzer being one of the best arms in this Red Wings staff. His 6.23 ERA is pretty misleading. He's a much more consistent pitcher than that. Just had a few tough outings, but there was 5 appearances. The 0-1 record, again, he doesn't get much help in terms of the run support, so that'll lead to less than positive records for most pitchers on losing teams. That one way behind Sam Meyer right there, not even close to the strike zone, let alone even the batter's box.
Yeah, I think that one might have slipped out of Van Duser's hand as he quickly works here.
It's now evened up to a 2-2 count with 2 outs on the board, and the Doubledays just haven't been able to touch Cannon Van Duzer. Still haven't gotten a hit against him. That one fouled off by Meyer. A weak chop at it to stay alive.
Meyer kind of just flung the bat out there last second because that slider came in and he realized, oh, shoot, this is going to be strike number 3. Let me just put a bat somewhere, hopefully getting a hold of it, to live to see another pitch. Luckily, he's able to do that, stays alive, 2-2.
Pitch comes in and fouled off yet again by Meyer. He's still fighting to stay alive against Van Duzer, who struck out 2 Doubledays in his outing so far. We saw 2 ground outs to open up this inning with Vivacqua and Kerwin both going down fairly quickly as that pitch outside to make it a full count. Now Meyer trying to change things. He forced a walk at his last at-bat. Can he do it again? And he will go down. Another strikeout there for the pitcher, Cannon Van Duzer, who has just mowed through this Doubledays lineup. We'll be back here in the 6th inning for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. Don't go away.
They're going to pick the winning ticket for tonight's 50-50 raffle.
Alrighty, guys, the prize pool for tonight's 50-50 is $645. Alright?
See, I think it's gotten to a
Our
point
winning
where
team is...
we can't really wait for a good time to play the game.
Yeah, so I'll do it
Do we have a winner?
at the end of the second.
Yeah, that works.
4, 8,
Unless there's
1,
a pitching change.
6, 4, 2. We got one? Come on, guys, this is a good prize. We gotta have somebody in here with this number. 4, 8, 1, 6, 4, 2.
That was looking right.
Oh,
Swing.
I wasn't
we got a winner.
We're not paying that.
No, I saw you.
One of my phones just put a tree in the lake.
Just what?
Just put a tree in the lake for the 4th of July.
Envious about how you're spending your floor right now.
45. Should have been 5 innings start.
They're saying number 11 is listed as someone else in purple.
Leading off for Geneva, first baseman number 15, Ratterman.
No, Zach Banks is in 11.
Yeah.
Back here at Falcon Park, Backman, my broadcast partner Ryan Story to the left of me as first pitch from Zach Ruffing. Brock Ratterman is going to be outside for ball number 1. It's been a dominant performance. That one's going to be snagged by Tyler Vivacqua. Looked like the Jumpman logo in the air right there, waiting to time that ball perfectly, and did so with his leap to snag a hit out of the air from Ratterman for out number 1.
I'll say, Luke, we've seen maybe more impressive or harder to make plays throughout the season, but that might have been the most visually appealing play that we've seen the Doubledays make defensively this year.
Yeah, that definitely from Aqua. Great play there at second base. He's come in, play defensively at second, made two spectacular plays, diving play, and then that one snagging the ball out of the air. First pitch is going to be low to Michael Sardu. Been a dominant performance here from the Red Wings all day. Another dominant, performance as that one's going to be in there for strike number one. I don't think it rivals the dominance of Joey Chestnut when his 17th Nathan's hot dog eating contest today. Your fireworks going off in the background in there for strike number two. Ryan, I got to ask, Joey Chestnut, where's he on your all-time GOAT athletes?
I think he's got to be really close to the top. You only can put guys, maybe Tiger Woods, I think, goes up above him. You look at maybe Michael Phelps. But outside of that, I mean, he's got to be top 5 easily.
I got to agree with you. Man's been doing. I think he ate like 70 or 71 hot dogs. That pitch fouled away. There's no way in the world. I think what's their time limit? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I think so. Like what's your prediction? How many could you eat in 10 minutes? Do you think?
That's a tough one because, if you ask me how quickly I can eat one hot dog, I think I'm up there with the best of them. But in terms of the endurance to just mow all of them down, I don't know, probably I think I could get 20 down, which might be a high estimate, but I think I could get 20.
That's respectable, as that's going to be ball number 4 to Sardu as he'll take first base. Bring it up Casey Burkhoff, who is 2 for 2, sack bunt, first at bat, a RBI single, and then an infield single. I saw Victor Wembanyama actually comment saying that Chestnut was the GOAT, so you get Victor Wemby co-sign. You're doing something right.
Yeah, certainly. As that one hit directly to Tommy Kerwin.
Over to second, now in time at first base for a 6-4-3, excuse me. Double play as Kerwin started that off, and we're going to send you his interview both Ryan and I conducted earlier today. We'll be right back after this interview. More Doubledays baseball.
I'm Luke Backman here with Ryan Story, my broadcast partner, and Tommy Kerwin. Tommy, we're here on the 4th of July, halfway through the season so far. How have you enjoyed your time here in Auburn so far?
It's been amazing. I mean, we've just had a great team, a lot of good vibes here. We've been winning, so it's been just a great environment and a fun time.
100%. Coming out here, what did you want to work on the most this season, this off-season, this summer, to implement into your game this upcoming fall?
Coming from high school, I just want to get a lot of at-bats, see a lot of good arms, college arms, and just get experience in the college pitching and college baseball.
Definitely, you mentioned kind of the experience in college and everything. How's it been kind of acclimating with, your high school guy, with teammates here that have played the college, just kind of getting a feel before you step out in college, what exactly is the feeling?
Yeah, it started off, it was we have guys like Unk over there who just teach a lot. I mean, you can learn a lot from every single person on this team and take one piece away from everyone's game and put it in your game.
Being a local kid from Oswego, how has the transition been going from just 40 minutes away to here?
It hasn't been bad. The beginning of the season was really busy because I was in school for the first 2 weeks, but once I got over it was a lot easier transition, and I love the guys, so it's been nice.
Great record at home this season, only one loss here at Falcon Park. What do you think the reason for the success at home has been?
I think we love to play hard for our fans. Our fans are here every game, same people, support us a lot, so we just like to win here, and I mean, it doesn't get better than here, so.
Mm-hmm. And any fun plans for the 4th today?
Win. We're winning.
And do you have a favorite 4th of July song, maybe American themes?
We're going courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
Great pick. That'd be my pick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Kerwin, thanks so much for hopping on this interview with us.
I want to thank Tommy Kerwin for taking time to speak with us earlier today. Great talking to him before he heads out to begin summer baseball in College. Going to be rooting for him as Anthony DeCesare at the plate here. Count 1-2 to him as Van Duzer still on the mound. Pitch is going to be rolled over foul past the third base line. Count remains 1-2.
And Tommy Kerwin, one of the bright young stars on this Doubleday squad. Unfortunate that he's not able to stick out the season. He'll be heading to Wofford College tomorrow to begin his college career. As that one cracked over to third base.
Pitch is going, throw's going to be not in time over there to first base. That was Santana making a nice play to recover, but beating out the throw to first base was Anthony DeCesare. Infield single. Bringing up Nick Izzo to the plate. It's reached both times via walks. And reach for a third time here tonight.
A rare error there from Aiken Santana, an explosive third baseman who normally makes plenty of impressive plays, just kind of fumbling that ball.
Pitch is going to be lined out over to right field. Coming in and then backing up was Freeman. Makes the play. Looked like that ball might get over his head. Instead, Freeman able to adjust. Out number 1. Mark Giannuzzi comes to the box here. The bottom of the 6th inning. Doubledays trail by 13. And all Red Wings here tonight.
Truly has, and Auburn has just 2 more innings, just 5 more outs in order to avoid a second straight mercy rule loss to the Geneva Redwings.
Yeah, 15 runs after 5, 10 after 7. Here in the PGCBL, so Auburn trying to put some runs on the board if they want to avoid that. And ball hit right back up the middle as Van Duzer just got out of the way. Scary situation that could have been, but Van Duzer avoids that ball right up the middle. That'll be a hit first of the night for Mark Giannuzzi.
And we've seen Van Duzer make some impressive plays out there in the field, but with a ball hit like that directly at your face, the first priority is getting out of the way and not getting hurt. Then you could maybe try to make an impressive snag, but the first priority has to be avoiding injury, especially in a 15-2 ball game.
100% as Max Fishbein comes to the plate, as he's going to get hit with that pitch. It's going to be the second time Fishbein is going to be hit by a pitch, now loading the bases for Auburn.
And Fishbein's got magnets in his pockets or something because the ball has been attracted to his side.
Like that one was an off-speed pitch, so doesn't have to wear it too much. Hopefully it's not going to leave too much of a mark. As it's going to bring up Brendan Smith to the plate, walked in his last at-bat.
We saw Geneva capitalize early on in this contest from a few Doubledays errors that eventually led to runs for the Red Wings. Now Auburn looking to do the exact same thing. That error by Santana that got Anthony DeCesare on base could prove to backfire here if the Doubledays manage to plate some runs.
Smith box is the first pitch here from Van Duzer. Swung on and missed for strike number 1. Down 15-2 here. Fireworks being popped around the stadium as he swung on and missed. 4th of July, we want to thank everybody for spending their 4th of July watching and listening to us here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're alerted every time the Doubledays are live. As that ball is driven out to left field. That's going to be Fogg chasing it, looking up the top of the wall as 1 run scores. And only going to advance the runners. Oh no, second run is coming home. Throw at the plate well in time. As confusion on the base paths for Auburn leaves a ball that was about 3 feet away from being a grand slam. Only 1 run scored and 1 runner tagged out at home. To a degree, sums up the night that it's been for Auburn.
I agree with you there. That one was an absolute rope hit to left field. I thought that was personally gone for a second. It was kind of lost in the lights. And I know you had mentioned grand slam that had been hit just, 14 years ago on this very day. So I kind of had those delusions of grandeur in my head, but bounced down, and I don't think really Mark Gialusi even processed that when he tried to make that play over at home plate, excuse me.
Yeah, interesting because is that pitch swung on and missed from Bonfiglio. Strike number 1. Gialusi was the runner who got tagged out at home, but for some reason, even though that ball was off the top of the wall, every runner on the base paths actually stayed at their bag getting ready to tag up when Fogg in left field was clearly looking up as that ball's going to be ripped over to Santana. That ball misplayed off his glove, then the throw gets past the first baseman to the backstop, so that will allow a runner to score, and Max Fishbein, as he comes around from second to score on that, he's going to third on the hit, and then the error on the throw causes him to come around to score. Bonfiglio stays at first. It's another run here for Auburn. They'll cut into this lead. It's only an 11-run lead.
And yeah, Auburn really doing what's needed to be done and getting a little lucky with Aiken Santana, who I mentioned earlier, generally doesn't make mistakes. That's his second error this game. However, he has 5 RBIs at the plate, so I'm sure he's not too concerned with how the night's been going.
Definitely made up for it at the plate. Pitch is going to be low and outside for ball number 1 to Bobby Hardy, who had a single in his first at-bat. Crowd getting into it. Pitch on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Count now even, 1-1. Been a weird inning here offensively in the bottom of the 6th. You know, a few feet away from seeing a grand slam. Turns into only 1 run scored and 1 run thrown out. Then an error, what looks to end the inning. That ball's going to curve in there for strike number 2. Taking second base is Bonfiglio, so runners on second and third now. Still 2 outs, 2 strikes, count 1 and 2. Bobby Hardy. Manduzer's pitch is going to be swung on and missed from Hardy for strike number 3. As Auburn plates 2, they cut into this lead. Still an 11-run lead for Geneva. We'll be back top of the 7th right after this.
Baseball trivia question, and here is the contestant who can win tickets to tomorrow night's game. Take it away, Kara.
All right, guys, here I have Gavin with me. And Gavin, are you ready for your trivia question?
Ready.
All right. The quote, "It ain't over till it's over," is attributed to what famous baseball player? A. Mickey Mantle. B. Babe Ruth. C. Ted Williams. Or D. Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra.
That is correct.
Leading off for Geneva, the designated hitter number 11, Zach Banks.
Back here in the top of the 7th. Zach Ruffing still on the mound for the Doubledays. Top of the lineup, Zach Banks at the plate for the Red Wings. He's up for his 5th time, 5th at bat in this ball game. First he's from Ruffing is outside for a ball. Second pitch fouled off to the stands. First strike number 2. Count now even, 1-1.
Well, Luke, as we mentioned, this is Ruffing's 2nd home game as an Auburn Doubleday. And you have to imagine this is effectively a tryout for him getting to go out there for an extended amount of time, maybe more than he normally would, coming out of the bullpen. He gets to prove to manager Matt Petrosi why he deserves more time with the ball in his hands.
Oh, that ball just past him. Tyler Vivacqua makes a diving play. Throw is going to be on a bounce, but not in time to get the speedy Banks. Great job from Tyler Vivacqua, who feels like he's everywhere on this field, stopping that ball, but again, not in time to get Banks, who will reach that infield single.
And we see it from Vivacqua there, him making a risky play. So you also have to give credit to Nick Izzo for managing to stop the ball at first, not letting it get past. We've seen Vivacqua at times have to sacrifice his accuracy for the velocity of his throws. That happened last game, ended up being a throwing error on Vivacqua. But the thing is, he can make those plays so consistently as that ball drilled into left field.
Pitch hit out to left field. That's going to be Brendan Smith coming in and making the play for out number 1, bringing up Dylan Briggs, the number 3 hitter, who's reached 3 times via an error and 2 walks. He's also struck out in this ball game. To the plate here. Brian, I got to ask, 4th of July, any, let's say, special memories or anything for the 4th that just, you know, makes, for you personally, such a great holiday? You know, fireworks, cookouts, you know, what do you love about the 4th?
Well, I love seeing the fireworks over Oneida Lake. That's always a great time. Been here in Auburn the past few years, so I miss those. Generally, there's fireworks. The 4th of July, as that one cracked into center field, caught by Sam Meyer in the second out of the inning. And normally there's fireworks here at Falcon Park after the game. Not this year, taking a year off. We'll probably get back into it next year, I'd imagine. But again, on the 12th, there will be fireworks here at Falcon Park. Make sure not to miss that, whether you're watching it here or in the broadcast.
100% Aiken Santana to the plate. Pickoff attempt for Banks to keep him, you know, somewhat honest. Already stolen a base here tonight, stolen plenty throughout the season. This pitch to Santana, gonna be hit right up the middle. That's gonna get, no, Vivacqua making the play over to first. Stretching at first, no, they're going to say off the bag is Nick Izzo, as immediately he is saying, no, look at the home plate umpire, talk with him. I was on the bag. Izzo was adamant. He had a foot on the bag. What a play from Vivacqua, and what a stretch from Izzo, as the umpires are going to overrule the call, say he is out. Manager for the Red Wings livid with that call and the overturn, but what a play from Vivacqua to Izzo to end the top of the 7th. We'll be back here at Falcon Park for more Doubledays baseball. Make sure you stick with us. We'll be right back. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, Eva 3 outs away. Mercy rule against the Doubledays. Doubledays have to score 2 runs here in this inning to make sure that isn't the case. Is 10 or after 7. game would end. So Cannon and Dudes are back on the mound working. It's the top of the lineup here of the Doubledays. That's going to be a swing and a miss right there from Tyler Vivacqua, starting the count at 0-1. Vivacqua 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Pitch outside for ball number 1, count now even.
And a lot of fans at home might be thinking, oh, it doesn't matter if they score here, Mercy Rule, they probably won't win anyways. But with playing a team in Geneva tomorrow as well, you're going to need to have some momentum heading into that game. Any runs that you can add on here in the 7th will be key to heading into tomorrow with a better mindset.
Yeah, people always talk about sports is 90% mental, 10% physical, and scoring runs matter. Vivacqua dribbler back to Van Duzer. Van Duzer over to first for out number 1. Vivacqua angry with himself, slamming the bat on the ground while running to first. That'll be a quick out number 1, bringing up Tommy Kerwin to the plate.
And that's those young, heated emotions coming into play. You still can't slam the bat to the ground. I know it's a frustrating game, not how you wanted your 4th of July game to go, but Vivacqua's had a fantastic day in the field. Just have to keep those emotions in check a little bit, even after the bad plays.
Absolutely, Vivacqua made the spectacular play to get us here in the bottom of the 7th. Great play to get Aiken Santana. That first pitch be a strike, second pitch outside. Excuse me, count now 1-2. That pitch was outside for ball number 1. That pitch low for ball number 2, count now even 2-2.
Kerwin in what could potentially be his last at-bat as an Auburn Doubleday. Chatted with him before the game.
Trying to keep his Doubleday career going on a little bit longer. Pitch outside, count now full, 3-2. Kerwin just graduated from high school last Saturday. As he's going to be wrong up looking. Kerwin was ready to take off the elbow guard and head over to first base. He was going to ask the home plate umpire, hey, where was that? Kind of shake his head in agreement, okay, and head to the dugout. Now, Red Wings are just 1 out away. See ruling Doubledays for the 2nd time this season. Sam Meyer at the plate. First pitch he sees is going to be a ball. Not the 4th of July what the Doubledays have wanted. That one's going to be hit over to third. Santana bobbles it. Not able to make the throw. Just eats the grounder at third. That'll bring Sam Meyer aboard here. Infield single right there for Sam Meyer. Hot shot over at third base.
Yeah, rough game for Santana in the field, but still have to give him a ton of props for what he's done at the plate tonight. Really night and day, but still enough for the Red Wings to come away with the win here.
Anthony DeCesare at the plate. Take a first pitch strike. DeCesare hit a ball off the top of the left field as the throw down to second. No one was covering. Interesting, as it was a ball. Skaggs threw down as Meyer took off for second. And, you know, I'm actually going to agree with Skaggs here, even though the run doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. You have 2 outs in the inning. If you know you are able to get Meyer stealing second, that's the end of the game. I don't know why neither the shortstop or the second baseman decided they wanted to cover the bag.
I don't know if that's laziness or just a lack of concentration. We saw Burghoff have a quick chat with Robinson after that one. As that one hit deep into center field.
Deep into right center, and that one's going to go to the wall. Both outfielders fighting for the ball. Is this going to be thrown in? That's going to be a triple for Anthony DeCesare. RBI triple for DeCesare going opposite field with that one to the wall.
And now the Doubledays just 90 feet away from being able to avoid the mercy rule.
That one hit out to right center field. No doubt about it, Meyer was going to score. Cesare rounding the bases as we're going to see a meeting on the mound here.
I'd say a surprising move here from Thomas Eaton, who was certainly heated at the end of the top of the 7th inning when that call was overturned at first base. Now he's going to have a chat with Cannon Van Duzer, trying to avoid the non-mercy rule.
Nick Izzo is going to come to the plate here. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. The Doubledays trying to stay alive in this ball game, down by 10, but of course the mercy rule is in effect if they are not able to score to Cesare from third. Meeting on the mound is over. Van Duzer stays in, able to handle this lineup fairly well. First pitch is going to be in there for a strike to Izzo.
Izzo's proven his patience throughout this game, walked in his first 2 at-bats, flew out last time, but Izzo's put together some very quality at-bats.
Pitch is going to be line past the third baseman into the outfield. And that's going to score a run here, cutting the lead to 9, and we'll have more baseball coming up as Nick Izzo lines that one to put this lead to 9, 15-9 for the Doubledays. As Mark Jalusi comes to the plate, singling in his last at-bat.
One thing I'll say, it was a 15-0 ballgame at one point. That one a single to right field. Gialusi, his second hit of the night.
Doubledays bats are coming alive here as now the runners on first and second. Max Fishbein. Fishbein has reached twice in this ball game, both via a hit by pitch. As first pitch to Fishbein is going to be high for ball number 1. Doubledays, after 2 quick outs in the inning, as that one's going to hit him for the 3rd time. There's a hat trick and hit by pitches on Fishbein. Loads the bases here for the Doubledays, turning into an interesting situation. As I was saying, inning started with 2 quick outs. Vivacqua Kerwin going down, and then 4 consecutive hits, scored 2 runs. A hit by pitch of Fishbein is going to bring up Brendan Smith to the plate with the bases loaded. First pitch outside for ball number 1. Smith single in his last at-bat against Von Duzer. Crowd getting into it. Pitch outside for ball number 2.
And with that hit by pitch that loaded the bases, I think I felt the presence of hope for the first time in Falcon Park since that middle of the 3rd inning. It feels like the Auburn faithful now really feels like there's a chance as it's a 3-0 count.
3-0 and nowhere to put Smith. As a swing, one swing of the bat could change this game completely. 3-0 pitch outside, 4-pitch walk. That'll walk in a run for Smith. Keeping the bases loaded, for Mike Bonfiglio. The Doubledays score their 3rd run of the inning and 7th of the game. That is going to be a meeting on the mound, and we will have a pitching change here in the bottom of the 7th. That's going to be the end of the night for Cannon Van Duzer. We will be back after this quick break with more information on who is coming in to pitch here for the Red Wings. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Here we go, bottom of the 7th. A 2-out rally has extended this game, so no mercy rule in effect. We will be back here at the top of the 8th, but Auburn not looking to go to the top of the 8th anytime soon. Bases still loaded. Mike Bonfiglio comes to the plate. Jack Turner, the new pitcher for Geneva. First pitch is going to be swung on and missed from Bonfiglio. This game, 15-7. The swing of the bat could change everything. You could feel the fans here. I'm sure you can hear them as well at Falcon Park. They are getting into it. Bonfiglio at the plate. Turner on the mound, pitch inside, ball number 1, count now even at 1-1.
And Jack Turner, utility guy for the Red Wings, the 6'6" junior out of Everett University. He actually has the best ERA on the squad out of all qualified pitchers with 5.
Pitcher's going to be
A 1-0 record on the campaign.
fouled off for strike number 2, count now 1-2 to Bonfiglio. As you could see, Thomas Eaton didn't want to go to his bullpen, obviously playing again tomorrow night against the Doubledays, but Doubledays forced his hand, going with Turner. Pitch 1-2, going to be hit on the ground over to second. That's going to be Burkhoff to first in time to get the 3rd out, but the Doubledays extend this ball game, scoring 3 in the 7th. They now trail by 8, 15-7. We got more baseball to play here on the July 4th. Stick with us. We'll be back with the top of the 8th inning right after this.
Back here in the top of the 8th inning, the Doubledays have made it a ball game. Still an 8-run deficit, but they avoided the mercy rule. Trail 15-7. Still falling behind 14-10 in the hits department, but Tyler Skaggs up to bat, going against Zach Ruffing on the mound, who has been brilliant. The 4th pitcher, but seems like enough guys out there. And finally, manager Matt Petrosi found his guy. And the hit over to shortstop, and the great throw, Kerwin, over to Izzo for the first out of the inning. Tommy Kerwin, we had mentioned in the last inning, could have been his final ever Auburn Doubledays at bat, and went down on a strikeout that he did not agree with, but gets a redemption there. Great play. Gets the snag and throws it over the first for a quick out. A big swing and a miss there for Braden Freeman, who is 3 for 4 on the night. Fielder's choice in his first at bat and 3 singles since then. And a bunt attempt that's fouled off. Freeman has a very smooth swing, not fast, even when he swings big at it, but just looks like he's absolutely taking a massive chop at it. As that one swung on, hit over to second base, and that's Vivakwa. Can't gather it. The throw will be a little off target, but that was just a tough one where he had so much time to think about it. The ball was bouncing in all those different ways. He just got a little bit in his own head, and that will be an error on Tyler Vivakwa that gets Freeman over to first. That brings up Chase Fogg, who is 1 for 3 on the night. Struck out in his last at bat, but has a single and a walk. It's a 1-0 count for Chase Fogg going against Zach Ruffing. Pitch inside there.
Count now 2-0. Chase Fogg. Doubledays, knowing if they want any chance in this ball game, have to keep it at 15 runs for the Red Wings. Pitch inside, count now 3-0. And to give credit, you know, it's been obviously a tough night for the Doubledays, but to give credit, the Doubledays have not given up a run since the third inning. Granted, they gave up 15 runs in those first 3 innings. Pitch going to be high for a 4-pitch walk. As Fogg will take first base. Freeman advancing to second. Brock Ratterman comes to the plate, but for the Doubledays, not giving up a run since the third inning, trying to make sure that's still the case as Matt Petrosi is going to come out to the mound. We'll see if this is the end of the night for Zach Ruffing, who has pitched a few innings. We're going to see the infield come in.
And I completely agree with this decision from Petrosi to take out Ruffing here. I know it's tough to do because it's very enticing to just leave him out there, not have to waste another arm before you go right back tomorrow with another home game against Geneva. But eventually, he's had a great day, but you have to give him a break, especially for someone who normally just comes out of the bullpen and only pitches 2 or 3 innings.
100%, as we'll see a new arm, and we'll be back to tell you more info about who this new arm is right after this. Ben Ruth now enters the game with runners on first and second. Mr. Ruth, Ben's father, actually, the bat maker, gifted some bats to the team. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it certainly said that's an interesting story.
As Ruth sets and deals, showing bunt there was Brock Ratterman. He'll take strike number 1.
Ruth as a whole has had a pretty interesting story going through his college career, redshirt freshman out of Ithaca College.
Grounded foul pass right of the first base bag. Count quickly 0-2.
He stayed local, coming out originally from Ithaca, New York, just a few hours away from here.
In a situation with one out, runner first and second, quickly goes up 0-2 on Ratterman. Staring into the Cesare, finally seeing sign. He likes, delivers the 0-2 outside ball, number 1. Count is now 1-2. 4th of July ball game. Friday the 4th here at Falcon Park. As the pitch can be in the dirt, count now even 2-2.
We approach 9:30 p.m. Thank you for staying with us here on the Auburn Doubledays Sports Network.
Appreciate you spending your 4th with us here if you're not at the ballpark, but instead watching on YouTube too. Pitch is going to be grounded foul right at the first base bag once again. Count remains 2-2. Ryan, I gotta ask. 4th of July, 4th themed questions I've asked already. Another one. We're going to a 4th cookout. Hot dog, hamburger. What type of guy are you?
See, I'm normally in general a hamburger guy, but I feel like on the 4th, hot dog is more of a tradition. Especially, we've talked about the hot dog eating contest. The hot dogs here at Falcon Park are pretty good, and this is normally where I spend my 4th of July, so I think I'll go hot dogs.
Now, you put anything on the hot dog? You just go plain?
I'm boring. I just go plain. No ketchup, no mustard.
Pitch swung on and missed there from Ratterman for strike number 3. Second out there for Ben Ruth comes in. Ratterman in his first batter face to strike out, bringing up Michael Sardu here, the extra hitter in this ball game. Yeah, I think for the 4th I gotta go hot dog too. I'm usually cheeseburger, hamburger type guy, but 4th it's just something about a hot dog. Perfectly.
It always tastes better.
Right. Sen is first pitch here to Sardu is going to curve on in there, 69 miles per hour. Nice pitch right there from Ruth. Strike number 1.
Yeah, like I've said, the hot dogs here at Falcon Park, very good. Would have loved to have some tonight, but I'd definitely recommend if you're in the ballpark next year, always, even throughout the rest of the season, get a hot dog, and next year on the 4th of July, make sure to get 2 or 3.
100% pitched low, double steal in effect. So that's going to be a ball, evening the count at 1-1. The pitch curves on in there for strike number 2. Count now 1-2 for Ruth. Trying to get out of a traffic jam, escape. Eva get a couple runs back. As the pitch is going to be hit, off the shoulder, the hip of Ruth. Throw to first in time for out number 3. Ruth recovers. What a play. Hit him in the hip, bounced off, stuck with it, fired to first in time for out number 3 as Auburn will come to the plate. Looking to cut more into this lead, down to their last 6 outs. They need a rally, and they need one quickly. Here, we'll be right back after this.
Worn jersey. And the winner is Andrew Bagel. Do we have an Andrew?
Leading off for the Doubledays, the right fielder from Denison University, number 34, Bobby Hardy.
Doubledays able to escape. some malarkey there in the top of the 8th inning. Is here in the bottom of the 8th, needing runs and needing them quickly. Bobby Hardy comes to the plate. Jack Turner still on the mound. First pitch is going to be low for ball number 1. And the crowd here getting into it. I got to give credit to the crowd here tonight. They have stuck with this Doubledays team through and through, looking to help propel a comeback. Second pitch going to be low for ball number 2 to Bobby Hardy.
And you can just hear the reverberations of the feet stomping into the ground, into the bleachers. The Doubledays making their presence felt.
Hardy tried to check his swing there, but that's going to catch a piece of his bat for a foul ball. So the count now 2-1 to Hardy.
Turner hitting 87 miles per hour on that fastball. His velocity significantly higher than what we've seen from both Benton and Van Duzer earlier on in this contest.
Definitely good velocity from Turner. Pitch high, that's 88 miles per hour as Hardy turns his head away from it. For ball number 3, count now 3-1.
As a batter, nothing you'd like to see less than a high velocity pitcher that has been known to be a little wild. Never want to catch one of those on the side.
Yeah, pitch fouled off, count now full here. 3-2. Hardy sticking in there, knowing Doubledays need base runners. Trying to lead off this inning. Getting on base as the 3-2 payoff pitch from Turner is going to be delivered and swung on. Little blooper over second baseman. Burkhoff going back, and he'll make the catch for a pop-up and out number 1. That's going to flip the lineup card over to the top, and Tyler Vivacqua is going to come up to the plate. Vivacqua grounded out to start just last inning, the 7th inning. A little dribbler back to the pitcher. Van Duzer was angry, slammed his bat. You know, kind of culmination of the at-bat, how the game had been going to that point. The team came back, scored 3 to keep this game going. Here's Tyler Vivacqua with his 5th at-bat, probably an at-bat he wasn't thinking he was going to get when he slammed that bat last inning, but trying to make the most of it. First pitch fouled off. Now 0-1.
Vivacqua just 1 for 4 on the night, but his presence has certainly been felt in the field, where he's made plenty of stellar plays.
Yeah, started the night as the extra hitter, then switched to the second base, and Max Fishbein switched roles mid-game. And immediately Vivacqua has come in, making some great plays at second base, diving plays, jumping plays. He's done it all. Vivacqua here is going to see a pitch outside for ball number 2. Count now 2-1. Bottom.
Last pitch nearly 89 miles per hour.
Turner bringing the heat. Pitch low. 88 miles per hour, 3-1, second consecutive at bat. That's going to get to 3-1. Turner battled back to make it 3-2, and then a pop-up to Burkhoff. That's how Bobby Hardy went down for out number 1. Vivacqua trying to get on base here. Again, his team down 8, needing runs and needing them fast. Pitch outside. That'll be ball number 4, sending Tyler Vivacqua over to first base, bringing up Tommy Kerwin. Kerwin comes to the plate, looking to get on base here. His final game at Falcon Park. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. 9:36 is your time Eastern. As Turner deals outside. Ball number 1. Turner having a little bit of trouble with the command here in this bottom half of the inning. Pitch is dealt. That one will catch the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. Count now even. 1-1. Good pitch from Turner.
The Doubledays just have to be able to adjust to that. The pitches at the outside have been called strikes all day. You have to start swinging.
That one just low for ball number 2. Count now 2-1. Crowd still into it. People standing. This Doubledays team banging on the bleacher, swung on and missed from Kerwin. And, you know, the pressure that is put on a hitter because of those outside pitches being called strikes. You just mentioned it. You got to swing because they've been called strikes. I 100% believe that's why Tommy Kerwin swung at that pitch. 2-2 pitch from Turner, going to be hit back out left center field. That's going to get down as Vivak was racing to third. He's being sent home. Throw is going to be cut off as Vivakwa comes in easily to score. Tommy Kerwin has himself an RBI double. Auburn plates another one. Down by 7 here. Auburn doing what they can to get runners on and score runners. Good piece of hitting there, Tommy Kerwin.
Yeah, Tommy Kerwin, we had talked about it. He's 0 for 4 heading into that in his final game as an Auburn Doubleday. That's the way you want to end your career, or at least your season, with the Auburn Doubledays with a beautiful RBI double.
Sam Meyer at the plate. Tommy Kerwin in scoring position at second. First pitch swung on and missed, 89 miles per hour.
Meyer with the home run swing there, just not able to make any contact.
On deck, Anthony DeCesare, who has absolutely drilled 2 balls in his previous 2 at-bats. Pitch going to be hit and out of play. Foul ball. Quickly ahead in the count is Turner, Sam Meyer, and 2. You want to get runners on, you know, obviously Meyer's the only guy in front of DeCesare at this moment. But a runner on second, you want to get Meyer on for DeCesare. Pitch swung on and missed. Quick 1-2-3 pitches. That's going to get Sam Meyer out on strikes, bringing up Anthony DeCesare, who I've mentioned had a near grand slam off the top of the wall, missed it by about 2.5, 3 feet, and drilled a ball to right center field. Got to the wall, and he got to third via a triple, RBI triple at that. Probably the hottest bat in the lineup at this moment. First pitch is going to be swung on and miss. Huge cut right there from DeCesare.
And every at-bat is huge here because with each run the Doubledays score, they effectively double their chances of winning this ball game. So if they can manage to somehow plate Tommy Kerwin, that would be huge for their chances at winning.
Pitch is going to be fouled off now. Had a little trouble with the strike zone earlier. Certainly has found it in these last 2 batters. Quickly ahead of the count. 0-2 to DeCesare as Skaggs is going to go out, deliver the ball to Turner. I think he's probably saying, hey, you're up 0-2 on this guy, but you left that one a little over the plate. Good cut there from DeCesare. Just wasn't able to find the barrel of the bat to the ball, but you don't want to leave any pitch over the middle of the plate to Anthony DeCesare.
Yeah, and as we've talked about, DeCesare with a very impressive 444 slugging percentage has been known to hit the ball far. Obviously, that triple he had earlier today was his first of the season, but he racks up those doubles with ease.
0-2 pitch from Turner is going to be hit in the air out to left field. It's going to be Fogg chasing it down, and he'll make the play running towards the line. Another great contact at bat from Anthony DeCesare, but that's going to be the 3rd out for Auburn. They cut into the deficit by 1, trail 15-8 as we'll begin the bottom of the start the top of the 9th right after this. Make sure you stick with us. We'll be right back. top of the ninth here. Winning the game that for a while didn't look like we were going to get to. Auburn staved off a mercy rule in the 7th inning, scoring 3 runs, keep their hopes of a comeback alive. Now down to their last 3 outs, but have to get these 3 outs to get their next of at bats. First pitch from Ben Ruth to Casey Burkhoff will be strike number 1. Auburn, they want any chance at a comeback. It's down 7 runs coming into the bottom of the 9th. They need to make sure don't allow any runs here at the top of the 9th. Second pitch outside for ball number 1. Count even at 1-1. It's going to bend in there for strike 2. Great pitch from Ruth. 69 miles per hour.
Ruth is being very smart here. He's seen from the Doubledays dugout that those pitches on the outside have been called strikes, so he's just targeting that spot. That time missed a little too far outside, so it was called a ball for a 2-2 count. But he knows that if he just keeps throwing it there, eventually those are going to be called looking strikes.
Ruth sets on the rubber, deals the 2-2 inside to the fastball. Missed inside. Now a full count here to Casey Burkhoff, for 10 hitter, who has 2 hits in this ball game, including an RBI as well. Burkhoff deals 3-2. Tried to go to the outside part of the plate, but was low on that pitch. Result in ball number 4, and Casey Burkhoff having himself a leadoff walk. Zach Banks comes to the plate. His 6th time to the plate. Banks, granted, he came and had 4 at-bats within the first 4 innings. The next 5, obviously, only 2 at-bats, this being the second. First pitch you'll see from Ruth will be low for ball number 1.
Banks is just a dangerous hitter. Still has made it to the first base every single at-bat. That's how dominant he's been, as he takes a big chop at it there. But 3 for 3 with 2 walks. And honestly, I think if you're Auburn, you know that you can't throw him anything remotely over the plate.
Yeah, high fastball gets Banks swinging right there to even the count. Ruth delivers. Pitch, snap ball, snap throw over to first, not in time. That was a ball, as you can see on your screen. Some fireworks out beyond field here at Falcon Park. Again, fireworks will be at Falcon Park next Saturday on the 12th. Be sure to join us for a great night. 2-1 pitch high. Ball number 3, count now 3-1.
And who knows, maybe those fireworks will be auspicious for the Doubledays in the bottom of the 9th inning. They'll pull out some fireworks of their own.
I like how you're thinking. The 3-1 pitch low for ball number 4. Walking Zach Banks and walking the first 2 batters of the inning. Bringing up J.D. Robinson to the plate.
Now batting, number 8, Jordan Perry.
We're going to have a pinch hitter here. Jordan Perry.
Interesting move. J.D. Robinson has been electric today, even though he hasn't gotten a hit since his first at-bat.
Pitch is going to be fouled off for strike number 1 to Perry. Plays it St. John Fisher, excuse me. Fireworks sounded like it was right in our press box. That one was pretty loud. I didn't even see firework in the sky, but definitely heard it. Pitch outside for ball number 1. Count now 1-1. One pitch hit over to short. That's going to be Kerwin over to Vivacqua at second. Getting the out there just in time for get Zach Banks. Wow, that was, couldn't have got any closer, but they secure the out. 6-4. As Perry will reach first, Burkhoff will be at third, having runners on the corners right now with 1 out. At the top of the 9th, bringing up Dylan Briggs to the plate.
You saw Vivacqua and Kerwin chatting about how they would handle the steal, and I think they knew that there was nothing that they were going to be able to do about it. Then not going to have a throw from DeCesare down to second because that risks Burkhoff coming home. So they're just going to wait, be patient, and let both runners be in scoring position.
Yeah, Perry immediately taken off, not waiting. Going to have a stolen base, and the infield now is going to come in for the Doubledays ground ball. They're trying to cut off the run from being at home. Second pitch curves in there for strike number 2. Quickly ahead in the count is Ben Ruth, 0-2 to Dylan Briggs. Undertaker team, bell being rung here. Setting up on the outside of the plate is DeCesare, just getting a piece of it. Stay alive is Briggs. Remains 0-2.
A strikeout here is absolutely needed, especially with the force out only at first base. You really don't have that chance at the double play. So if you could get a strikeout here, make it 2 outs, take the sacrifice fly, the sacrifice bunt out of the equation, that would be huge if you're the Auburn Doubledays.
Up 0-2 in the count. Ruth looking for that exactly. Pitch going to be just fouled. Briggs stays alive. 0-2 will remain the count. Fireworks being shot off. Ruth Reddy's on the mound. The 0-2 pitch going to be hit in the air out to left field. Going back far is Smith. That's off the wall. 1 run scores. A second rounding third and going to score as well, as that's going to be a 2-run double off the bat of Dylan Briggs as he got a hold of that one. Deep into left field, high off the wall, scoring both runners easily. As that'll extend the lead up to 17-8. Now a 9-run lead, back to a 9-run lead for the Red Wings.
And Luke, you know the crazy thing about that at bat? That was the first extra base hit that we've seen from the Geneva Redwings this contest, and they're at 17 runs.
Unbelievable. First pitch to Aiken Santana outside. Ball number 1. Santana Reddy's in the box. Still only 1 out. Runner on second outside. Pitch will be on the outside corner for strike number 1. Count now 1-1. So Auburn needed to find a way to not give up any runs and keep it at a 7-run deficit if they really wanted a slim opportunity to come back in this game. Not able to get that. They give up 2 runs. Aiken Santana and the Red Wings looking for more. 2-1 pitch from Ruth outside for ball number 3. Count now 3-1 to Santana. A 17-8 ball game. Up in the 9th. Ruth delivers. Pitch on the outside part of the plate for strike number 2. Great pitch right there. Full count now. As Ruth sets. Feels the payoff pitch. That one's going to be a little dribbler. Back past the mound over to Kerwin at short. Throwing to first. Bouncing it and making the pick right there is Nick Izzo. Izzo stretching and somehow keeping his foot on the bag for a huge out number 2. Great play by first baseman Nick Izzo.
And a great play by Tommy Kerwin to gather it and then make the transition to the throwing hand seamlessly and then get a throw accurate enough. Even though Izzo had to lay out for it, it was still a great aggressive throw. I'd really like to see that out of Tommy Kerwin. And for someone who really hasn't played any shortstop all season, to be making an impressive play like that, great sign if you're Kerwin, and great sign if you're the Wofford College coach watching this game. You could be like, okay, maybe we could throw him over at shortstop.
Pitch is going to be inside, and getting out of the way of it is Tyler Skaggs. Count now 2-0, and credit to Kerwin as well. Santana, a speedy runner, so he knew he had to get rid of it quickly, and Nick Izzo, great job at first base, like a vacuum, picking that one up. 2-0 pitch is going to be outside. 3-0 now, the count to Tyler Skaggs, who's at the plate. Catcher for this Geneva squad here tonight. Pitch in the dirt for ball. Number 4, 4-pitch walk. The Skaggs, and he'll be on first. Runners now on the corners. For the Red Wings is Chase Fogg, Braden Freeman will be up to the plate.
And we've seen Geneva consistently, without fail, when they have runners on the corners, they almost always attempt the double steal. So we're likely going to be seeing Tyler Skaggs try to make it over to second base for free.
Freeman has reached every time he's been up to bat here tonight, including 3 singles and 2 RBIs. Pitch rolled over to second. Vivacqua fields it cleanly and fires over to first for the 4-3 ground out, and that's how we will end the top of the 9th. Geneva does score 2, though. Auburn went up to bat. They're down to their last 3 outs. See if Auburn make a miraculous comeback. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
Come on, Jimmy.
Nick Izzo will lead off for the Doubledays here in the bottom of the 9th, down to their last 3 outs. Jack Turner remains on the mound as his first pitch will be swung on, hit over to third. That's going to be Santana fielding and throwing to first. The pick made by Ratterman for out number 1. Good job by Ratterman over there at first base, picking that one for a quick out number 1. Down to the last 2 outs now for the Doubledays. Coming to the plate for 5, Mark Lucy.
Gianluci has gotten 2 consecutive singles, and that could be a third.
That one's hit out to center field, dropping quickly, and it's going to drop off the glove of Freeman. As that will bounce to center field, but staying at first base is Gianluci. He's on once again. Going to be a tough play anyway for Freeman, sliding, diving. Giving it his all out there in right field, but either way, Gianluci is on as Max Fishbein comes to the plate.
And the crazy thing is the Doubledays have almost made it all the way back in the hits department. They at one point trailed in this game 10-0. Now it's just 15-12.
Fortunately for the Doubledays, not coming back yet in the run department. Still down 17-8. I feel like, I'm going to say, maybe we've seen crazier things in baseball history. But
Yeah.
down 9
maybe.
with 2 outs left. I mean, that could be the craziest thing in
That'd
history.
certainly be close.
Might do some research digging in case Doubledays make this comeback. Pitch is going to be outside, counting out 2-0 to Fishbein.
We've seen large comebacks. We've seen 10-run comebacks. I believe in the World Series that even happened one time, but I don't think we've ever seen them do it in 1 inning.
Yeah, that would be something as Fishbein takes a strike right there. Count now 2-1. So Doubledays again. Down by 9, swung on and miss is that pitch from Fishbein. Count even at 2-2 here on a 4th of July. We're approaching 10 o'clock 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time here in Auburn. Appreciate everybody sticking with us on YouTube. Watching as the 2-2 going to be fouled off, staying alive for Fishbein. As if you're new listening in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, hit the notifications button so you know every time the Doubledays are live here at Falcon Park. Pitch is going to be low for ball number 4 and a walk to Max Fishbein as he'll take first, advancing Gialusi over the second base. Doubledays will be back in action here at Falcon Park tomorrow night. Brendan Smith comes to the plate here, 2 on and 1 out.
It's not often you see a player reach base 4 times without getting a single hit, but that's exactly what Max Fishbein has done. He's been hit by 3 balls so far this game, which is crazy numbers, but then got a walk there to make it his 4th time on the base paths without a hit.
Fill up the ice bath for him.
Yeah.
You know, after those 3 hit by pitches. First pitch low to Brendan Smith for ball number 1. Smith has reached base 3 times, 2 walks and a single. Also an RBI. His ledger tonight. Pitch low for a second consecutive ball.
Actually in his last time up where he got that RBI walk because the bases were loaded and he very patiently let Cannon Van Duzer walk him with ease. Unfortunately, the Doubledays couldn't then capitalize on another bases loaded situation, but at the very least, Brendan Smith has shown up to play tonight.
Pitch fouled off. Count now 2-1. Who erased the first 3 innings of this game? No, I liked how the Doubledays have played.
Hopefully they can carry that over into tomorrow's contest.
Pitch low for ball number 3, and you and I talked about this, Ryan. Hey, baseball, sports in general, 90% mental, 10% physical.
Yeah.
Momentum matters, and you said it perfectly. You know, some people might ask, oh, what does it matter if they score a few runs in the 7th and they escape being mercy ruled? Hey, we could see this very easily tomorrow. Pitch going to be hit through the 6th hole into left field. That's going to be Mark Gialusi being waved around, is sliding into 3rd, is going to be Max Fishbein. And standing at 2nd is Brendan Smith. Doubledays score 1, 17-9, still not dead yet. Here with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Mark Gialusi giving a few pointers to Mike Bonfiglio before he heads to the dugout, and Bonfiglio heads to the plate.
Brendan Smith saying, you can talk about tomorrow's mentality all you want, but I still care about today, with a great hit there over to left center field. Still an 8-run ball game, but the Doubledays have 2 in scoring position.
Pitch will be called a strike to Bonfiglio, who's reached twice via errors in this ball game. So Bonfiglio at the plate. Bobby Hardy on deck in an 8-run ball game. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Pitch outside for ball number 1. Count now 1-1. And again, I've said this throughout the season, when you need rallies, hey, just pass the baton off to the next guy. Don't be trying to get it all back in one swing. Do your part. If it's a walk, it's a walk. Get on base and pass it to the guy on deck. Bonfiglio now down in the count, 1-2. Here to Turner.
And you're right, it is about passing it on to the next guy. And if Bonfiglio can get through the at-bat, get on base, which he's done in 2 of his 4 at-bats today, then it becomes Bobby Hardy at the top of the Auburn Doubledays lineup, because that one nearly clips Bonfiglio. But if you get to that top of the lineup, Auburn can do some real damage up there.
Definitely. Tyler Vivacqua, the leadoff hitter for tonight, is in the hole right now, waiting to see if he gets an opportunity. 2-2 pitch swung on and missed right there from Bonfiglio. As Auburn now is down to their final out. Bobby Hardy comes to the plate.
Coming in the right fielder from Denison University, number 34,
It's
Bobby
Hardy tonight, 1 for 4. Had a single and came around to score back in the 3rd inning. Stands in at the plate with Jack Turner on the mound. Pitch is going to be swung on, hit over to Santana at 3rd, hits his glove, gets past him. Actually, and that's going to be coming home is Brendan Smith, who took a second. Didn't know whether or not that ball got far enough, but indeed it did. So 2-run score right there on another grounder over to Santana at 3rd, who isn't able to field it. Again, would have been a tough play anyway. Trying to field it and fire across the diamond. But either way, Bobby Hardy is on with 2 runs being scored right there. Auburn now trail by 6 runs, 17-11.
Santana has just had a really rough day in the field. He's been credited with 2 errors, but he's had at least 2 plays where it definitely could have been called an error, but the play would have been tough, would have probably just been a play over at first that we'd like to see the runner win anyway, so he doesn't get the error credit, but he's effectively had 4 butchered plays this contest.
Tyler Vivacqua swings and misses the first pitch. Pitch is going to be hit in the air. That one's going to be out of play and a souvenir for a fan. So Doubledays are now down to their final strike. Vivacqua down in the count 0-2 to Jack Turner. Crowd still into it. As Turner deals off the rubber, the 0-2 will be there for strike number 3, freezing Tyler Vivacqua. He'll go down looking to end the night. Auburn on the losing end of this ball game, something we don't see too much here at home. They lose this ball game 17-11. A ball game where 15 runs were scored by the Red Wings in just the first 3 innings. I don't care how powerful your offense is, that's always going to be something hard to overcome. Ryan, quickly as we wrap up here on the 4th, talk to me, what adjustments would you like to see the Doubledays try and make when it comes to tomorrow's game?
I don't even know if there's any specific adjustments in terms of lineups or pitching or anything like that. It just has to be defense. Clean up the mistakes. 5 errors is just not acceptable. It's not okay. And we just saw the Doubledays struggle too much in the field early on. Now, there were some bright spots. Players like Tyler Vivacqua, who looked amazing out there. Tommy Kerwin, who we mentioned he had a few errors early on in the contest, really stepped up his game, and by the end of the night had settled in, making some really impressive snags and throws over to first. So there were bright spots. Now it's just put that together for a full 9 innings, not just for the last 6.
100% as you see the next 3 games for the Doubledays. Hey, they're back at home tomorrow at Falcon Park. If you're around in the area, make sure you come out here. Love to see you at the game. Rematch against Geneva. Make sure Auburn wants their revenge after this game tonight. Then they're going to be on the road in 2 days against Jamestown. That's going to be at Jamestown. And then back at home on the 8th against the Batavia Muck Dogs. Hey, not the way the Doubledays wanted to go out tonight, but they will be back. Got to put it in the rear view mirror immediately, short-term memory. They'll be back against Geneva tomorrow night. Thank you for tuning in and staying with us throughout this ball game on this 4th of July, 2025. We'll be back here tomorrow night. My name is Luke Backman, our broadcast partner next to me, Ryan Story. We thank you again for sticking with us throughout the night. Wish you to tune in. 6:30, Falcon Park. Rematch between Auburn and Geneva. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.